Baneni. I think I said that right. Ryan Walters with you, and I'm happy to be joined here in the commentary area by Lassa. I'm going to ask you for your last name again, but good afternoon. Good afternoon, Lassa.
Good afternoon.
So tell me your opinions of the two teams in the finals and what do you think is going to happen today?
I think they both are really strong teams, and I think that this game will be really close. Both teams have pretty strong batters and bowlers, so I think this is going to be brought to the end.
I think it's going to come down to the end. Okay, so if you are, you've played against both these teams. What you've seen in terms of the strengths of each one, who do you think wins it?
I think that Ritu Singh has a really good attitude towards the game, and I think that she can really bring the game hard for them.
Okay, so Ritu Singh, the opening batter, faced two balls yet to score, and we're playing a full T20 match, which means that the couple of matches already this morning were reduced overs because of the rain. But it appears as though we're going to be able to get a full T20 in. So your strategy can be a little bit different. I'll ask you more about that in a second. That's just defended to mid-off. They take a quick single, and they should get there without any trouble. So how does your strategy last year change in terms of your overall approach to the game when you have a full 20 overs in which to approach things?
I think that when it's a T20, the batsman should play according to the ball in the first couple overs and then start accelerating depending on the score that's needed by the team. Okay. And according to the opposition, I think that the score should be decent to surpass the 20 over limit.
Okay. So give me your sense of, number one, what sort of score do you think is an acceptable
I think right now
I'll answer that after this ball. Looking to work that down the leg side, and they'll run through for a single. My goodness, had that been a direct hit, that might have asked a couple of questions, but you see umpire there, Mani Singh, signaling bye. So 2 balls remaining. You were saying?
I think that the Dallas team, which is bowling right now, they have a really strong batting lineup. So I think that a sufficient score for them that Ritu's team has to put up should be around 190-ish, 200. I think that would be a
190, 200. So you're looking for fireworks for the remainder of this match. And this is worked behind square. Should be 2 if they run hard. And here they come back. Good look, good running. Ritu Singh taking charge there and calling the second one. It was her call. That is 1 ball remaining here in the first over. So you think 190 is on the cards? Do you think it's realistic to get that sort of score?
Yeah. I think that Ritu can put it up, and I think the batsmen after the 2 openers also have a good capacity to be able to hit some boundaries for them.
Very interesting. So 1 ball remaining here in the first, 7 runs on the board. And because of the fact that it's a final, in fact, 7 on the board now, the scorecard has been corrected. Appeal for leg before and not given, and they run through for what I believe is going to be a leg by. Yep, there's a signal from umpire Mani Singh. That is the end of the first over. At the end of 1, the score says 9 without loss. I believe it's 8, but we'll confirm shortly. Anyway, first over, in fact, there's an updated score. After 1, the score is 10 without loss. So 1 over up, the score is 10 without loss. First over bowled by Aditi, conceding 8 runs off the bat, and 2 extras is what I believe. And now the bowling taken up from the Pearland end. I believe that is going to be, can you see who that is?
The bowler?
Mm-hmm.
Chinmay.
Chinmay.
Yep.
Tell me about Chinmay as a bowler.
Her line and length, her pace is so beautiful, so perfect, and I think this is going to be a good over from her. I think she can get lots of wickets if she bowls in line.
Fantastic. So Chinmay, right arm over the wicket, Outside off, a little too far outside off. You may have just jinxed her with that comment last year.
Oops. It's okay. I think she'll come back. She's a good bowler.
So when you played against her, first of all, in your team, are you a batter or a bowler?
I'm a batting all-rounder in my team, so yeah.
So did you ever face up to Chinmai?
Yes, I have. I've faced Chinmai before.
And how did you do against her?
I think that the couple things that I do is I watch the length first, and I see where I should attack the field.
Okay.
That was a good ball.
Very good ball. So tell me about that length that she's bowling, because you said you watched the length. Give me a sense of what you're thinking about when you're looking at that.
When it's full, she swings out. So I think that I just tap it through cover, extra cover to just get the single. And then if it's good length, just usually go front and defend it. Short, I just try to pull or cut.
Okay. So pretty simple game plan.
Yep.
Give me a little bit of a sense. After this ball, I want to know if you are the bowler, because you said you're batting all around us. So you do some bowling, as this is played through extra cover. In fact, that's a good sliding. Oh, she tried to stop it, didn't exactly stop it. So they'll get 2 through extra cover. So a couple more runs to the total. If you're bowling inside the power play, and like right now, you'd be bowling to Ritu Singh, who's on 5 from 7. And you know she's a big hitter of the cricket ball. How do you bowl to her?
I think that I would just look for line and length, because I think anything outside off and outside leg she'd put away. So anything straight, I think that it would be sufficient for her to block the ball.
Anything straight. So you want to keep it outside the line of off. Okay, so this next delivery. Now that's a little too straight, going down the leg side. Just worked away. They should get a couple here easily. Ritu still the only one of the 2 who scored any runs off the bat. She's now 7 from 8. Sasha has faced 1 ball and she has scored none yet. So the opening pair, already 15 on the board, but many of those are extras. So what do you do to cut down on the number of extras that are being bowled?
I think that just thinking about the game plan again, how much they want to restrict. So the batsmen, I think that's something that plays a big role.
Oh, late on the shot, but she gets an under edge. That may run away for 4. That is the first 4 of the day that we've seen so far. Thick under edge, running past through that short fine leg area. And a fortuitous boundary there, but you'll take that if you're Ritu Singh. She now moves up to 11 from 9 balls faced.
That was a good ball. Reasonable bowling to Ritu. I think she played that a bit late, but that raced away for 4.
So a good ball and an inside edge that goes for 4. But do you not want that ball to be more on the line of off stump, or maybe outside the line of off stump?
Yes, on the line of off stump, especially because they don't have anybody in the deep back there. I think that's a viable ball.
Next delivery, similar type of delivery, now going down too far down the leg side. And another wide signal. That is umpire. I'll remember his name shortly. It just went blank for a second. See, Lassie, when you get to be my age, that's what happens. You just forget things that you really should remember. But either way, 20 without loss is the score after 1.4. Wrapped on the pad. That might have been an inside edge onto the pad, though. So, in fact, not much of an appeal. Bit of a half-hearted appeal. To me, that is an inside edge onto the pad. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that was a good ball, especially because Ritu's moving down the leg for that shot. I think that was a good ball. Attacking her.
Interesting. Now, Chinmai has 1 ball left in this over. She's conceded 10 runs, but you expect that a good bowler like her will bring things back. So, that stayed a little low. That's going to be something to pay attention to. That's well played by Ritu. Doing well to keep that one from getting through. That is the end of the second over. Scoring right now at the rate of 10 runs and over. The score is 20 without loss.
I think so far.
So 20 without loss after 2. Lacia thinks that a score of 190 is on the cards. If they keep scoring at this exact rate, they will get to 200 if you do the math. Is that right? Yeah, okay, good. To catch myself there for a second. Well, over the wicket again. This is Aditi looking to bowl again. That length, just short of driving length, and that line needing to be on the off stump. Left arm bowler, pace bowler, and angling it, looking to angle it across the right-handed bat. It looks like there's a first slip in position for that exact reason. That's Giovanna Arras in that first slip position. Next delivery, 2 straight now, working it to square leg or backward square leg. Should get 2 once again if they run hard, and they do it pretty easily.
I think that was a good shot for that ball, especially if when you bowl down leg with that pace, it's pretty easy to work it out. That was a good shot by Sasha. Deserved 2 runs.
That's accurate, and I think also the case that the bowlers are not necessarily building any pressure. So what you want as a bowling side is to be able to have several dot balls in a row to create some type of pressure. But if you're bowling wides and if you're bowling balls that are too straight or too full or too wide, and scoring keeps happening, 2.2 overs and 22 runs on the board, that's a rate that you're going to have to pull down. And this for me is just a little too wide. It's played away behind square. Should just be 1 though. And a good strong throw. Good strong throw actually back into the keeper's end.
So that was a good shot, especially for that ball. I think that if you bowl outside off, you get more. The batsman gets more time to place it through the gaps.
Back here after that little bit of an impromptu break, 22 without loss after 2.4 overs, and happy to be joined here in the commentary area. Additional commentators, Avni and Bhakti. Did I get that right?
Yes.
First of all, Avni, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Ooh, looking here, this is going to be overthrows, at least a couple of them, I think. Avni, your impressions, number 1 of the tournament, number 2 of your team's performance, and then most importantly, number 3 as a sponsor of this tournament.
Tournament went well. We had, obviously, the rain is here, but we did our best to play as much cricket as we can in these conditions. Wonderful stadium, nice people. We love working with NWCL as a sponsor also, and just trying to support the efforts in USA to promote women's cricket and grow it, especially for the upcoming players, the younger ones.
It's extremely important to be able to have sponsors as you go through a tournament like this. You can have all the enthusiasm in the world, but if you don't have the resources to put together a tournament like this, then it doesn't happen. So tell me about your obvious commitment to the growth of cricket, particularly women's cricket, here in the Houston area, but beyond that as well.
Yeah, so whatever opportunities I get as a company, it's not just me, it's also my partner, A.B. Patel.
Mm-hmm.
We both kind of review, and we just want to make sure that these girls are getting a fair chance, because there's a lot of talent out there. And depending on the region, we have issues, whether it be weather or ground. So we're trying to figure out how we can support these girls and all these parents who are traveling, spending almost $10,000 to $20,000 a year just to get their children to play good, proper cricket, professional cricket, to possibly make it to the national team, right? So it's important that we do our part, so to give them the best resources so that they have the best chance.
Absolutely amazing. Now, I know that Bhakti doesn't want to talk, but I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, Bhakti. I'm sorry, you're sitting in here, you're going to have to talk. Those are the rules of the game. You played professional cricket for 13 years in India. You are now playing, or at least you played in this tournament for the Willow Breakers. A, is this the first time that you've played in the U.S.? And then B, talk a little bit about the tournament and how you've experienced it.
Hi, first of all. And thank you for making me talk.
No pressure.
Yeah.
There's only about, I don't know, 30,000 people listening to your... Okay, maybe not 30,000, but... Carry on. Oh, by the way, before you go any further, I think we just missed a wicket. So Sasha is out. How was Sasha out? Maybe you were looking.
I was paying attention to the beautiful speech Bhakti was giving. But I think... I don't know how she got out.
Okay. Well, that will be updated on the scorecard shortly. But back to you, Bhakti.
So I started playing cricket last year in USA. And since then, I'm playing regularly. And particularly this tournament, like I can see that players coming from all over USA and giving their best to win matches. Either it's a bowling department or batting or even fielding in any of the conditions. Now that we have set the ICC rules and playing according to that, and they are giving the efforts, it's amazing to watch these young girls play like this and giving their 100%. And especially the parents also, they are supporting their kids to the best. They are giving them the facilities, and the sponsors also I want to thank. Only because of them, we could have such beautiful tournament. And I am thoroughly enjoying it. This is really good experience overall.
So for somebody who didn't want to talk 5 minutes ago, you just spent 2 whole minutes describing the experience and describing what you've seen so far. You played for 13 years in India. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Tell me about some of your playing experience in India.
So I played for Saurashtra for 13 years, even captained the under-19, under-23 and seniors Ranji team for my state. I represented the West Zone also and the India A camp also. And over there, the environment is live. Cricket has already into the grassroots level that we wanted here also, to be honest. Only that is the way to look things forward, to get things forward and moving. And I think USA is on a right track, the way things are going and moving, especially as the regionals level. So I think, we could be seeing within 2 to 3 years, we'll be really good.
You said you played professionally for 13 years. You don't look much older than 13 yourself. But
Thank you.
Where do you live now, and what type of cricket do you play where you live?
So I live in New Jersey, and we practice at Dream Cricket.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So me and my other 2 commentators right next to me sitting, we played DCW players with Coach Earl Delhi. So
would you please tell him?
Oh yes, cheers to all the coaches to the Dream Cricket and Coach Earl Delhi also. Like in Dream Cricket, they are working really hard. Regardless of if you are 9-year-old kid coming here for the first time and catching the ball, or you are a pro and representing your nation. Doesn't make a difference. They all are giving good efforts.
Coach Earl and I are from the same country, Jamaica. Yeah. Known him for probably, 10 years or so. Really, really good guy. Now, Dream Cricket, that's Venu, right?
Venu, yep.
Now,
to Venu also.
I've also known him for a while, back when I was on the board of the USA Cricket Association. The less said about that, the better. But going back to you for a second, Avni, so tell me the name of your company again?
SMK Global.
Tell me about SMK Global. What do you do? This is your opportunity to reach any potential clients that you want by telling them about your business.
So truly, my sponsorship is just, there's no purpose behind it because we're a dietary supplement manufacturer. Our clients, it's B2B.
Allow me to interrupt you.
Sure.
I know, based on what you've said already, that you're not doing this as a quid pro quo, not trying to get something for something.
Correct.
So I truly appreciate that. Now I'm giving you the floor to promote your company.
So basically, we make supplements for branded marketers.
Okay.
So our customers, so it's B2B. So our customers sell their supplements under their brand name. I'm just a third-party manufacturer. So I cannot say that go here and buy SMK supplements. It doesn't work like that.
Sure.
But the purpose behind the sponsorship is like somebody has to take it forward. I believe that today, if I sponsor and all these girls, whatever opportunities they get, they grow, they become big names, they make good money, and eventually they'll do something. And hopefully it just keeps going forward, and that's how cricket's going to keep growing. Because at the end of the day, we all love the sport, and that's the intent, that's the motivation behind it, right? So we just have to keep going and, just paying it forward.
Outstanding. And you are in Jersey, you said.
Yes.
And how old is the company?
4 years.
Fantastic. Last year, do you ever see yourself as a business owner? And if you do, how much can you learn from this young lady?
If I were to be a business owner, I mean, Avni, you've always been an inspiration to me, cricket-wise, and just life in general. I think that whatever you just said, it really inspires me. Think bigger about what I want to do when I grow up. So yeah, I think that I will take your advice. And
all these girls need to learn business with cricket.
Oh my goodness, it is so critical.
That's important.
Look, when I'm not doing cricket, I don't want to turn this into a business conversation. Let's just say I wholeheartedly agree with what you just said. So in terms of this game, 32 for 1 last year, 32 for 1 in 4.3 overs. What do you need to do? First of all, that's a full toss. That's hit away down to deep mid-wicket. Watch the square leg umpire here. That was very close to being a no ball and no signal. I think you just saw that little slight signal from umpire Sujit that said it was just below waist height. So I'm sorry to interrupt. You were saying, what do you think about where you are right now? If you're the batting side, then if you're the bowling side.
So if I was on the batting side right now, I think that the run rate's been a bit slower than it was in the beginning. But I think that they're still going at a good rate, and I think acceleration must be needed. Yeah, 7.29 is a pretty good run rate right now, but I think they're expecting a little more, like around 10, 11. And then from the bowling side, I think that...
You want 10, 11 runs.
I'm expecting a lot from ACZ women. Yeah, but I think if I was on the bowling side, I think they're restricting pretty well, especially for their batting lineup. I think this is a sufficient target as of now. But we have to see how this game turns out at the end of this innings.
Very interesting. Okay, so I'm switching back and forth among all of you. So back to you now, back to you. Your role as a senior player, how important is it if the team that you played with, most of the young ladies are, let's say, not necessarily as young as last year. But what role do you play as a senior player when you're interacting with players like last year? And how can you help them understand how to be a cricketer given what you've experienced?
That's a wonderful question. But when I have to be in that senior role, I have been blessed in my life with so many good seniors that I learned from them that you have to just be there for your juniors, your young players, and just support them in any possible way. And by that mean, I have to say that if it's mentally, just be there, talk with them, what they are going through. But whatever I'm saying, you would be able to do that when you listen to them carefully. Okay, if they have the question, you have to be there to listen to them and then give your advice. First, understand the question. First, understand where they are coming from, and then put your information, whatever you have learned in your life, because you won't be the only person in the entire world making the mistake for the first time. So you have to use that experience and guide them so that they don't make the same mistakes. And also, if they are making mistakes, how to learn from your mistakes. I feel that's the most important thing for any cricketer. Make your own mistakes. It's okay, because there will be only one winner after the match. There will be a loser, or if I say, a learner. You can learn from your mistakes and just take things forward. So as a senior, I would be just right beside any of the upcoming young players and just tell them to first enjoy the game, why you started the game, and learn every day. Practice hard, and when it's time to match, just have fun.
We started this entire conversation with you not wanting to speak. What in the world? You just went from not wanting to speak to being a motivational speaker in the space of about 10 minutes. That is really solid advice, and I really am happy that you're able to give that type of advice. In the meantime, with regard to this game, that's 4 runs through the covers for Jessica. What is Jessica's last name? Thank you. Okay, I get most of the names. That one I just cannot say. So say it again for me.
Gamua, I think that's how you say it. I mean, she taught me in North Carolina one time, but I've completely forgotten.
Well, if you're not able to say it, then there's no way I'm going to say it. So Chinmahi again. And in fact, I'm going to ask another question of you, Bhakti. And this is a very cricket-specific question. Left-handed batter is on strike. She plays well in the arc of between long on and mid-wicket. Many of these bowlers right-handed bowlers automatically go around the wicket to a left-hander. What are your thoughts on that? I have strong opinions, but I want to hear yours.
So, I feel like you should be sticking to... Exactly, that's what we are saying. That was a wonderful shot.
Yes.
The pickup, as soon as she thought that, okay, that's in her arc, she just picked it from there.
Yes.
So, if she would be bowling from the regular hand, it would be difficult because it would be just going against the swing, against the angle. So, you are making it easier for a batter. So, why would you do that? You should be able to have a full control and the confidence on your bowling that no matter what happens, you will be bowling to your line, you will stick to your strengths, and just let the batter do the thing.
You are, number one, preaching to the choir, because I've said that a million times. It's almost like an instinctive reaction. Ooh, left-hander is up, I need to go around the wicket. When I played as a left-handed pace bowler. And the best thing for me to do was to stay over the wicket to a right-hander, because then you create that angle that goes across them. If I go around the wicket, it's slanting into them, and they play that shot exactly, except in the reverse, because I was left-hander and the batter is right-handed. But that type of a delivery, it's much easier for the batter to see it, because it's coming right into them, and they can simply just do that. I wish, if there's one thing that I wish I could express to younger players, is that you don't automatically have to go around the wicket to a lefty. Or if you're a left-hander, you don't have to go around the wicket to a righty. Sometimes you do it as a strategy. Okay, this person is really, really, really very strong on the offside, not too strong on the leg side. Let me see if I can go around the wicket and force them to play on the leg side. That's one thing. But just to instinctively do it, to me, that is a flaw that needs to be corrected.
I agree with that completely.
Of course you agree with that, because I'm right. So, Avni, you play as, correct my memory, a batter, correct?
Yes.
That was not very convincing. Okay. I won't qualify it. What's your role in the team?
Yeah, I'm a batter.
Okay, that sounds more convincing. Now, tell me about your role in the side, and essentially what sort of gives you the ability to do what you do in the side.
So, I'm actually even junior to last year in terms of cricket.
Really?
Yeah, I just started playing last year. So I didn't grow up on cricket or play my whole life. I just started.
Really?
So when I joined Dream Cricket, I would watch players like Lassia. How are they fielding?
Mm-hmm.
How are they moving on their feet, the angles and stuff. So in fact, I've learned a lot from Lassia. Lassia Bandaru, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So her, Kirtana, all the little girls. So I just enjoy spending time with the little ones and just watching them and learning and just staying young with them. So yeah, I've tried pace bowling. I'm trying spin. I'm also a batter. So still figuring out my way right now.
I'm curious, what brought you to cricket in the first place?
So actually, there's that test series that India played against Australia, and we won. And there's
We being India, assume?
Huh?
We being India?
Sorry. Yes, India.
Okay, just checking.
India versus Australia.
Okay.
Sorry.
And that's what brought you to cricket?
That kind of really inspired me. I was considering joining a couple of things at the time, and I had a passion for cricket. And I started playing tennis league with men, a men's tennis league. And I really enjoyed it. And I started loving the game. And then it's kind of also, once you start playing it, you get more passionate about it. So it's like the cricket fever.
That is really interesting. Now, just to level set where we are in this game, 2 deliveries into the 7th. The score is 49 for 1. And with that stroke, we get to 50. There should be a couple. This is Snigdha Paul patrolling in the deep on the offside. And they get a couple. So 50 is up. Srinidhi is into her first over. 3 runs scored from it. 50 after 6.3. So that's interesting. You saw Australia versus India in a test series that India won, and that drew you away from tennis and into cricket.
I've been liking cricket for a while now, but then, and I was also playing side by side the tennis league, but that's what made me make that decision that now I'm going to start coaching. I want to play leather cricket now. And then it was over. I converted from tennis to leather.
Really? So you jumped straight from tennis to leather ball cricket?
Yeah.
Wow. Last year, I'm interested in hearing your journey on that exact topic. When did you start playing and what made you start playing?
I started playing around 2 years ago, August of 2020, I think.
2 years ago?
Yeah. Wait, that's 3. Let's say
2.5.
close to 3. Yeah, 2.5.
So wait, I've seen you play before. I want to say it was in Maryland at the NWCL. Maybe say again? Probably. Probably, yes.
Yeah.
But I know I've seen you play before. So you've only started playing 2.5 years ago?
Yeah.
That is amazing. So what made you... First of all, how old are you?
I am 14 years old.
Oh, my goodness. You're a baby. I have cricket bats older than you. So... In fact, every single cricket bat I have is older than you. But so at 14, so you started 2 years ago. So at 12 years old, what made you decide to start playing?
I mean, my brother wanted to play cricket, and since he was small, he just watched cricket, and he just wanted to play when he got older, when he got the strength to hit a ball. And my dad, I played basketball at the time. So my dad would bring me straight from basketball practice to my brother's cricket practice. And then I would just watch, and I'd be so interested. And my dad was like, "Do you want to play cricket?" And then I said, "Yes, I want to try it." And then on the first day, I was hitting everything without technique, but it was going everywhere. And that's when the coaches at Dream Cricket, they saw me and they were like, "You should start playing more seriously." And then you would hope to see me go somewhere.
Absolutely outstanding. I'm coming back to you, Bhakti. So what was your journey and what made you start playing cricket?
So actually, my family is all educationalist, all in education business. My parents are teachers. My grandparents were teachers. I was the only kid in my house to play any sport, to be honest.
Interesting.
But since the age of 5, I was into sports. But I went into judo first. So that was my main game. Okay. I started playing since 5 years old. Then after 5 years of rigorous and amazing time at judo, since the age of 12, I started playing tennis as professional.
Mhm.
But from there was a time that I was playing cricket with boys all along, but just for fun, like
Sure.
tennis ball cricket, gully cricket, as they say in India.
Yes.
So, but then there was a time that I had to choose between a tennis tournament.
Oh, hold
I
that thought.
have to just stop it. That was a wonderful shot. Wonderful shot. That is one of the biggest, I guess, strength for Ritu, if I'm
Oh
not
my
wrong.
goodness, yes.
You cannot
Yes.
bowl
No.
there to her.
Cannot bowl on her legs. She will absolutely murder you.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yes. So I had to choose between tennis and cricket when I was 14 years old. There was a selection going on. There was a time when BCCI actually merged with women cricketer, and that was the first year in 2006. And that time, that was an open invitation to any of the player in our region. You can go for the tryouts. So I was like, okay, I'm playing cricket as gully cricket. So one of my senior in judo actually told me that, oh, you should go and try. So I just went there without the kit bag, to be honest. I had no cricket shoes. I
Sure.
had no cricket kit bag whatsoever. I just showed up with my track over there, track shoot, that's it. And I bowled. So I started as a bowler. And then they selected me in 15. And that was the first ever tournament that BCCI merged with the women's cricketer. Otherwise, it was just for men's cricket.
Sure.
And from there was no looking back for me. I just madly fell in love with cricket after
So you
that.
said they selected you at 15. What do you mean by that?
So
Oh, you were 15 years old?
I was 14 and a half.
14
and
and a half. Okay,
I'm
got
still like one of the youngest player to represent Saurashtra in seniors Ranji team.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Very interesting. So, and you're in the New Jersey area. Do you think that cricket, that's a sliced away, ooh, could have been caught, that's a drop at deep backward point, you argue that probably should have been taken. But do you think that the improvement and the rise to prominence of cricket in that area, particularly in that part of the country, will lead in any way maybe down the road? And I don't know what sort of time frame we're talking about, but is there anything potentially as a professional women's league here in this country?
I can see that right now, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just hopefulness, but I actually want that too. That it should happen.
Sure.
And
Get
in
back-
nearer future.
I'll get back to that in just a second because a no ball has just been called. Let's look at this replay and see if we can see why it was a no ball. Was it because of oh my goodness. No ball, probably because of an overstep. Had that not been a no ball, she would have been out two different ways. LBW plum that was hitting the base of middle stump, and she stepped on the stumps at the same time. So, that is absolutely tragic. Shreya will be kicking herself for that because she should have had a wicket two different ways, but now she gets to bowl a free hit ball. And this is blasted straight. That's going to be just fielded in the deep at long off. Okay, sorry to interrupt you. Please keep going.
So over
In fact,
there,
look, I think we're going to see the replay again. Look at this. Yeah, it's from here. Looks like she overstepped. Swing and a miss. Oh, that is plumb LBW. And then she stepped on the stumps. My goodness. Look at the keeper. Absolutely aghast. That should have been out. In baseball terms, that's a double play. That's two wickets in one. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. Anyway, back to you, Bhakti.
so over there in New Jersey, I have seen like whatever I've seen in past 1.5 years, parents are especially very interested in their kids to give them the proper quality coaching. Not just they are sending them. They are actually very passionate about, okay, what they are learning, how they are learning.
Yes.
So they are willing to invest in their kids, no matter the amount, no matter the travel time.
Right.
So when I see that type of commitment, not just from the kid, but from the parent also, and the coaches also, I can see that if they just keep doing what they are doing right now, we can see the leagues coming up for sure.
Very interesting. Last year, you were 14.
Yeah.
If you keep playing cricket, and let's say 10 years from now, there's a women's cricket league, you'll be a professional women's cricket league. You'll be 24 years old and in the prime of your career. So is that something that you're looking forward to?
I think I am looking forward to playing cricket for a long time from now, but I just hope that I'll be able to get better and like play at a higher level of cricket as soon as I can to like make my parents proud. We moved from New Jersey to Houston, Texas, just for cricket.
So you live here now?
Yes, I do.
How long have you been living here?
5 months.
Really?
Yes.
That is fascinating. Where in Houston do you live?
I live in Katy.
That's not Houston. That's
Really?
west of downtown Houston by 20 miles. Cinco Ranch. You're still towards Katy. Okay, so I lived in Houston for 22 years. And now I live in Austin, which is, for you non-Texans, that's about 200 miles. My house is 200 miles from where we are right now. So it's not ridiculously far. And it's a pretty straightforward drive. If there's no traffic, I make it in 3 hours. That's probably speeding a little bit, but you won't tell, I won't tell. But tell me, Lassia, about the decision to move from New Jersey, where if you do a cricketers per square mile analysis, I'm thinking there's more cricketers per square mile in New Jersey than there are down here. So tell me about that decision.
My parents just wanted to look for more opportunities to play outdoors, because in New Jersey, there's more time indoors than you can get outdoors and better grounds, fields to practice at. And I think that that's something that motivated my parents to push me here and like to get me better at it. Better at the game.
Really? Very interesting. Do either of you young ladies have children?
I do.
How old is your child?
My son, Iklavya, he's 10 years old.
What's his name?
Iklavya, we call him Love.
Iklavya. That
Yeah.
is very unique. Where is that name from?
It's actually a character from our famous Mahabharat. He's actually considered like the best student. So,
Okay.
yeah.
He's 10, you said? Oh, no, that's got to be a no ball. Yes, signal, no ball, full toss, and it's hit the deep backward square, but this next delivery is going to be a free hit. We've seen a few of those. We've seen several different flavors of no balls in this tournament. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot in a second, Lassia, but finish telling me about Iklovia.
Yeah.
Finish telling me about him.
Yeah, he also plays cricket. He trains at DCW as well. So, we trust the coaches there, Coach Preetham, Coach Shrikant, Coach Rohit. They're all teaching all the youngsters, proper cricket, technical cricket. So he's enjoying learning.
Fantastic. So 67, make that 68 for 1 from 8.5. 1 ball remaining in the 9th. Lassia, number of different types of no balls that you know. Tell me them.
Okay, so one is the basic overstep, over the waist. Fielders are talking when the bowler's running up.
That's not a no ball.
They called it a no ball when
Did they really? Is that a tournament rule?
I don't know if it's because I played U11 for so long.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's probably why.
That one I've never heard. Seems kind of harsh. Free hits, you were talking. Okay, what else?
And then more people outside the boundary. If something, it's not a no ball when something touches the hat or something on the floor, right?
It's not a no ball, but it's 5
runs,
penalty
yeah.
runs, exactly.
How many are there? I mean, I feel like I'm missing something.
I'm thinking of at least a couple. Let's ask the former professional, the former and current professional cricketer.
I'm not able to think anything right now.
When it pitches outside the pitch?
Say again?
Yeah. Outside the
Boom!
Oh my God, how did I miss that?
Boom! So the ball pitches off of the pitch. That is a no ball. Another one we almost saw here on that double wicket that we just saw when it bounces twice before it gets to the batter. Another one that you missed is when you talked about overstepping the front crease. But if your back foot is outside the line of the return crease, that's also no ball. I think we got all of them. I think that's all. The one talking while the ball is running up, that I've never heard.
That's probably a U11 one.
I'm going to have to consult the rule book on that one. That is powered away down to long on. By the way, about this game that we're watching now, we're into the 10th over. The score is 6-8 for one. Do you think, Lassia, that you're going to get the 200 runs that you're looking for?
No, because it's actually getting a bit slower.
Yes.
7.53 is run rate. I think that they have to accelerate a little bit, especially having Ritu at the crease. I think that they should definitely give her a signal to accelerate a little bit. Other than that, I think that 69 is enough right now as of the 9 over mark, but acceleration must be needed.
Really interesting that you say that. Have you ever heard this sort of unofficial rule? Not rule, but unofficial saying that if you double the score after 12 overs, that gets you to what you're looking at in terms of the entirety of the innings. So let's watch and see what the score is after 12 overs. And then after 12 overs, I'm going to ask each of you for a prediction of what the final score is going to be. So start thinking in those terms. I will ask you that at the end of the 12th over. In the meantime, 69 for one, 9.2. The over rate is, or the run rate rather, 7.39. Ritu Singh, 34 not out from 23, or from 33, my apologies. And Jessica W is 20 from 19 deliveries. But they're both well set, and in theory, either one or both could explode at any time. And she reaches for this one, Ritu, but not able to get it past extra cover inside the circle. So, back to you. Said you started out as a bowler. I only remember you batting. Maybe if you bowled in this tournament, I don't remember. Did you bowl at all?
I did, and I got hit also. And that was a pretty good shot, by the way.
Stop trying to change the subject.
I was somehow trying to duck that question. But I think you are in a mood to hit it for a 6 as a pull.
Completely.
Yeah.
Now, as an all-rounder, when you know that you can impact the game in more than one way, first of all, which do you prefer, batting or bowling?
Definitely batting.
Definitely batting. And you batted very well today, from
Thank
what I
you.
remember. You scored, if I remember correctly, 37, something like that.
I don't know, to be honest.
You don't
we
know-
lost the game and I was just in that
Are
mood.
you
that
serious?
I couldn't
So you
get
don't even
my-
look at the score? I'll
Yeah,
tell you exactly how much you
because
scored.
I
Give me
wasn't
just a
able
second.
to get my team through
Uh-huh.
to the finals. I was
Whoop,
disappointed
wrong one, sorry. Uh-huh,
with
I'm sorry.
myself that, okay, if I would have just stayed it for next 2 overs, I got out.
I was off by 2. You were 39.
Yes. So
39 from 26 with 5 fours. I thought you batted beautifully.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I may have said it on the air, but you can go back and listen, then you'll see if I said it or not. But when you, and did you bowl this morning at all?
This match.
Didn't
no.
bowl this match.
Yes.
So I think when you can impact the game in more than one way, if you fail in one, it gives you motivation to sort of, do better in the other. But if you're playing essentially like this morning, you're playing just as a batter. When you get out, and maybe you've already answered this, how does that make you feel when, okay, I have no way of impacting this game for the rest of the game?
So that's pretty bad space, to be honest, that I don't want to be ever. But it's cricket, you know that always gonna be more bad days compared to the good days. So you have to soak that feeling. But again, like I always self-criticize myself,
Sure.
like because I expect too much from myself. So if you have seen WPL games, so in one of the interviews, Marizan Cap, she said that as an all-rounder, it's not that, okay, she didn't perform in one department or so that she can make it up in other. She expect her to do well in every department that she has been given opportunity to. So my perspective is also very similar to that. It's not that if I didn't perform in one way, I will just jump into okay, now I'll do that
Right.
in either fielding or bowling. But for me, fielding is very, very important. I give a lot of time and a lot of importance to fielding. But yes, if I'm not able to perform well, then yes, that's my goal. That, okay, whatever I have, I'll put everything into my fielding. If I'm not able to, if I got out on a first ball, it's okay. It's a game of cricket, right? If I cannot bowl good ball, just like the yesterday's game, I got hit for around 15, 16 runs in an over. She was batting quite beautifully.
Who was the batter?
I guess Jivana, if I'm
Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she hit.
Okay, now I remember the over.
Yes. So I almost caught him, but that was a drop catch. Otherwise, I could have taken my revenge also. I have to add that. See, the baller's perspective always. Always.
You only remember the one that got away.
Yes. But yes, so that my point was, okay, now whatever comes to me as a fielder, I'll make a catch or excellent run out. In that way also you can contribute. So there's always a chance to improve also, and to contribute also in any way possible. So that's always my goal.
Completely.
And to have fun.
Oh, no question. So Avni, going back to you, tell me your son's name again.
Eklavya.
Eklavya. He does play cricket.
Yes.
Is he a bowler or a batter?
He's he's basically learning everything right now.
Sure.
He's trying bowling. He's trying batting. He wants to wicket keep.
It's literally everything.
He wants to do everything.
Umpire, scorer.
A commentator.
Commentator.
He would love that too. So basically, we're just trying to teach him, learn the basics, work on your fitness.
Work on your fitness.
So a lot of athletic training is different than any other training. So it's important that even if you don't have the correct trainers, you can easily watch YouTube, Instagram. There's so much information available on plyometric training, isometric training. So these kids, like jumping rope is so important. Having fast feet is so important. Improving your vertical, training your muscles in a stretch position, all those things. So all this information is available online nowadays. So these kids literally have no excuse now.
Right.
So, he's just trying to pick up all these things and improve day by day.
I don't know if you young ladies have noticed, but the sun is actually out.
Yes,
You haven't seen the sun in probably, let's call it 24 hours. Strong throw coming back to the non-strikers end, and they get two. Ritu Singh now goes into the 40s. She's now 40 from 39 balls. We're sneaking up on that 12 over mark, so you all should have a number. Start the process of having a number in your head, because this is going to be a competition, and whoever, I don't know, we'll decide what the winner gets sometime later, but we're going to see who wins. So I found it very difficult to be a cricket parent. Two sons, one son plays professional soccer, the other son now only plays soccer but used to play cricket also, and he was brilliant. And I'm not just saying that because he's my son. He was really, really very good. But the opportunities were more prominent on the soccer side than the cricket side. So cricket, he was a left-handed opening batter and a right-arm pace bowler. Because he's Jamaican, of course, he has to bowl pace. But my oldest son went to school on a soccer scholarship, and there is no such thing in this country yet as a cricket scholarship. So we made a head versus heart decision. So sorry, maybe we'll, keep your cricket gear as mementos, but you get to start playing soccer now. But I say all of that to say, when he used to play, I found it exceptionally difficult to watch him either bowl or bat. I mean, it was the most difficult thing in the world. So you see him come up, and he's trying to bowl pace. At the time, he was probably maybe 13. And he's bowling to a 17-year-old kid, a big 17-year-old kid. And he tried to bounce him. 13-year-old should probably not try to bounce. He hit it like 400 yards. I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And then, in a different game, it comes into bat, all padded up, ready to make some runs, and gets one ball, boom, LBW, out. So I've always found it to be very difficult to be a cricket parent. It's much easier to be a soccer parent than a cricket parent, believe me, because, when you play soccer, the team contributes to anything good that happens. So the goalie gets the ball, passes it to the center back. Center back passes it back to the goalie. Goalie passes it to the winger. Winger passes it back to the goalie. Goalie gives it long to the striker, and the striker gets a goal. So everybody touches it when something good happens. Cricket is always just you and the bowler, or you and the batter, and it's all just one-on-one battles. And even though technically, yes, it's a team game, it's a series of one-on-one battles that makes things so much more difficult. Anyway, I've said that probably 5 times this weekend, but there's a lot of different people coming in here, so I have to keep saying the same thing. Anyhow, so as far as this game is concerned, 11 overs done, 1 for 85. Make that 85 for 1. So hopefully each of you has a number in mind. And all of a sudden we have a flood of people coming in here. We have 1 run gone so far in the 12th. You're raising your hand.
I have to leave now?
You're allowed to leave. No. The contract you signed very specifically states that you're here for the entirety of the game.
Oh, okay. The entire game.
I'm just joking. Obviously, if you have to leave, you're...
But I will tell you my prediction for the end.
Fantastic. What's your number?
I think it's going to be 150 on the dot.
150 on the dot. Okay.
I'm going to talk to Ruth real fast. Hold on.
150 on the dot. Okay, so each of you has 4 more deliveries to get your guesses in. Okay, so you need to leave right now then? Okay, wonderful.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Really good talking. Good talking to you. Best of luck. I'm sure I'll see you again soon.
Bye. Can I take these saltine crackers?
No, those cost $20. Yes, you can take them.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Okay, so 87 for 1 after 11.3. Snigdha into her first over. None for 2, or make that she's conceded 2 runs and not taking a wicket. She's bowling to Jessica, who is 27 from 24. Ritu, 42 from an even 42 balls. And we're getting close to the business end of the innings because still 9 wickets in hand and another 8 overs and 2 balls to go. And it's almost time for me to start asking for specific guesses. So each of you needs to be ready. And more to the point, a question about Snigdha herself. She's an all-rounder. She bowls generally a very good line and a good length. Do you choose to attack her, or do you want to wait until one of the other bowlers comes on to go after?
I never wait.
Okay.
You can't be predetermined. It's good to have knowledge, in my opinion, about the bowlers. And, of course, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses.
Yep.
But in a T20, you can't wait. You have to take risk. Risk is equal to reward. So knowing the situation of the match, your lineup, your duty as your position as a batter, you have to attack. If you let the bowler get comfortable, then you're automatically giving them, more confidence. So, again, as Coach Earl says, a good defense is also just as good as a boundary. So when required, you do that as well.
Sure.
But you have to attack. It's a mind game also.
Very interesting. So now drum roll. The score is 88 for 1. 12 overs are up. What is the final score?
160.
160. So last year says 150. You say 160. Back to what do you say?
I say 154.
That was so political of you. You literally came in between those two numbers. Okay, if you went by my little formula that I just said, double the score. 88 times 2 sounds like 176. That feels high. But I'm still going closer to 160 than I am 150. What did you say? 154 is what you said? I would say 163.
Okay.
163. It was 150. What did you say?
160.
150, 160, 154, and 163. We will see in the next 8 overs, make that 7 overs and 5 balls, who actually knows cricket and who's just playing at it. This is Meha Ritu going through the offside, but there's coverage out in the deep. Conditions are actually significantly better right now than they were a couple hours ago. I can actually see some blue sky above, which is just unheard of. That's one thing about Houston. The forecast will say 90% chance of rain, which it did. And then now we're playing in bright sunshine, which is just in many ways very interesting. Oh, down the leg side. And signal wide by umpire Mani Singh. Meha, 0.2 overs, 2 runs conceded. Ritu is approaching 50, 43 from 45. And Jessica, 29 from 26. Biggest takeaways from this tournament, you think? Oh.
It's wonderful to see all these girls grow each tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting stronger. They're customizing themselves to T20, to international cricket also.
Okay.
So I'm glad that they're adapting. Like Ritu, I love the way she hits, and she's kind of started that hitting trend also. And a lot of the girls, they've changed their game to become a T20 format cricketer.
Okay.
So that's good to see, because that's the way the game's going, and that's how they should train also. They should be prepared for this type of hitting. And seeing the WPL and all the Big Bash and all the other leagues, it's good to kind of start implementing that and be ready for that type of cricket.
Very interesting. Same question to you, Bhakti.
So I agree everything that Avni said. And just to add on that, I actually faced so many different bowlers and batted with also, if I have to say about my teammates, like different strategies, different mindset, because from where they come,
Yes.
how they have trained, and to pick up, to grasp that knowledge and adopt it and learn something from it, that was one of the best things that happened for me in this tournament. Like, I had great opportunity playing and with the great teammates and also the oppositions, no matter which team. When you are getting old, or not that old, but getting little older, you really
Bhakti! I turned 55 on Wednesday. I don't want to hear anything about you being old, all right? Literally. I told last year that I have bats older than her. I'm sure I have one bat that's older than you. So I don't want to hear that. So try that again. This time not calling yourself old.
But I love to see these young girls putting their efforts and body behind the line, just to say one run, and the commitment that I just love to see people putting their hearts out when they play. So that is also one of the big point that I'm going to take it from here to, no matter what happens, you have to love the game that you started playing and just give you 100%, no matter the situation. Until the last ball is bowled, the game is not finished.
Very interesting. Oh, now Ritu, I think, is starting to lose her shape a little bit. She wants to hit just a little too hard. I saw her on Thursday play what I described at the time as a shot of the day, over extra cover for 4. A shot over extra cover here gives her 4 runs every single time, and that's the type of ball just now that she was trying to hit over mid-wicket.
True.
And just reading her body language, she wants to get after it. She wants to accelerate, and hopefully she knows that she's the key to her team getting a good total on the board. I think I just heard her father yelling at her just now. But I'll ask you this. If there's a player who has a very good power component to their game, by the way, you have way more power than I realized after when I saw you batting this morning. I didn't realize you were as strong as you are. But what's the calculus? When do you rely on power and when do you think, just timing is better?
So I feel like both are important in modern day cricket. You need both. But for me, one should actually stick with what they have as their own natural strength and rely on to that more. So if I have to talk about myself, I know that I have a good timing, right? But if I have to talk about like today's match, if I say that, there was a time that it was around 12 run rate. So I had to rely on my strength also to pick my spots where exactly I want to hit it and then use my technique and power to make it to the maximum or the boundary also. So it's combination of both, I must say, but one should rely more on their strength. So for example, if I have to talk about my teammate, Melanie Henry, I know that she hit it like monstrous sixes, right?
Yes.
But even she knows that she can hit sixes, she respects a good ball.
Yes.
And she defended with a good technique. So that's what you need when you are playing T20 cricket. It's not just about power hitting. As Virat Kohli said that you have to rely on your strengths. It's not just 666. You can make 100 runs with boundaries, singles and doubles also.
I just happened to look on our YouTube feed. By the way, the 100 is up. 101 for 1, 13.5. It's going to be a wide, make that 102 for 1 with one ball to go in the 14th. There are 39 people who are watching online right now. So I'm going to ask for anyone who is watching if there is a question that you have for either of these two young ladies, Bhakti Shastri or Avni Patel, right? Avni Patel. Bhakti Shastri is a former state-level player. Am I saying that right, Bhakti? This is a big hit. That's going to go for 6, I think. Yep, yes. Went all the way. Just for a split second, I thought that long on might have been able to catch that, but it does go for 6. Here we see on the replay. Matter of fact, if you all want to come closer, you're more than happy to. This replay, big old screen here is sitting here for exactly that purpose. So, dragged over the top of long on for 6, and Jessica, who also is a big hitter when she's ready, 41 from 31, actually striking it at a higher strike rate than Ritu. Ritu's 46 from 50. But, as I was saying, for those of you who are listening, if you have a question for either Bhakti Shastri or for Avni Patel, whether it be about their careers or whether it be about this specific tournament or maybe even something more global about women's cricket in general, please feel free to send that along. I'm happy to play go-between and pass the question along. In the meantime, 6 overs left, 108 for 1. And the biggest question to be answered right now is what is that final score going to be? Because I think I'm going to win our little contest. So both batters are in the 40s. Ritu 47 from 51 with, let's see, we're into the 15th over. Jessica is on strike though. Full, that's a good ball. Good length. Yorker length and just passing by outside that off stump. And a very precious dot ball bowled at this stage of the innings. Meha, 9 runs conceded from her 1.2 overs. So when do you all go back to the East Coast?
Tomorrow.
Lofted down the ground, couple of bounces. That's Snigdha Paul down here. Long off who comes in and cleans up. So you go back also tomorrow, Avni?
Yeah, we're traveling together.
I request and Sanu Varghese delivers. Sanu wants to know, what is the path for the cricketers here until they reach the U.S. national team? In India, we have seen state, zone, Ranji, etc. But what is the current pathway for a cricketer who wants to get to the highest level here in the U.S.?
So,
Any of you wants to take a stab at that? First, you, Avni, and then Bhakti.
So once you're into this like circuit, you're part of a league or you know some coaches, firstly you should register for on usacricket.org as a player. So you get
Sound like a commercial. Anyway, keep going.
no, so you can get the updates because even I didn't know this, so that's why I'm just speaking out of experience that you have to. This is the first step. You want to go there and register, so you get all the email updates and all the news and all that. And then once they have, depending on the area, you'll have your intra-regional tryouts. So if you've registered on time for that, you will be reached out by their local coordinator, and you will be called in for regional intra-regional tryouts for your state team or your area team. Once you make it to that team, there will be intra-regional matches between the local states and the areas, and depending on who wins, the selectors for that area from USA Cricket they watch the matches, and then I don't really know their criterias and what they're looking for, but they kind of make a selection for a regional team, and then there's the regionals, and then there's also the nationals, and based off that there's further decision made by, I guess, the coaches and whoever about who will play for which tournament. This is the basic general information that I'm aware of. I know that there are changes in USA Cricket, this year. So I guess, yeah, that was so that's the first step. You have to sign up and go to your local intra-regional tryouts.
Very good information. Anything that you want to add to that, Bhakti?
I think she covered it everything.
So in other words, you're letting that one go through to the keeper. Now looking big, that's going to run away for 4. Okay, so little by little, the scoring rate is picking up. It is now 121 for 1 into the 16th over. And so another 4 overs, make that 3 overs and 4 balls remaining. 18 and 4 to me sounds like 22. So you have 22 more runs. If you go run a ball, you end up at, what's that, 143? Ooh, what did you say? 143. Okay. No, I mean, what was your guess?
154.
154. Okay, so 143, I think, there's no way they'd be satisfied with that. I think 150 at minimum is what they'd be looking for. You said?
I said 160. Last year said 150.
And I said 163.
Yeah.
All right. Keep those numbers in mind. And in the meantime, thank you very much for your questions, Sanu. And once again, anybody else who has any questions, whether about USA Cricket in general, as it seen through the eyes of 2 accomplished cricketers, or even if you want my perspective from the standpoint of a former administrator, I'm happy to give that perspective as well. Thank God I'm not in that ship anymore, by the way. I think I said it before. It's almost chopped on by Ritu Singh. Careful that she doesn't do that. I think I've said it before. It's easier for me to be a resource for cricket in a non-political environment. And anything that involves elections and anything that involves campaigning as it relates to cricket, it's taking away from what really is important. A little child who's 7 who wants to just play cricket doesn't care who wins a national election. They don't even know about it. Right. So if I'm doing something that's going to help a 7-year-old, it's going to be something that's hands-on. It's going to be something that's tangible. And I'll get other people to make the types of decisions that need to be made. As that top edge flies down to the boundary, good work by the captain herself, running back. In fact, that's Giovanna. I almost said Janaya. I didn't think that was her name. Giovanna. They look to me very similar in the field. Sometimes it's difficult to tell them apart. But I was just thinking it's easier to be a resource for particularly for cricket development when you're able to do something immediate and tangible. Yes, the long-term role is important and that happens at the national level. I just find it easier to stay on the ground and do good stuff here. I'll put it that way. And I'm measuring my words very carefully. Okay, so that is the end of 16.
So you are getting the bouncers, but you are keeping it to the ground.
I dropped the wrist. I dropped the wrist.
Few you ducked it, yes, but few you tried, like temptation was actually there to hit it, but suddenly you remember, no, I have to keep it to the ground.
I had to keep, drop the wrist, let it go through. And that ball goes all the way down to the boundary. Those are buys, 4 buys. So not collecting that ball as the keeper, and it gets right through and goes away for 4 buys. Yes, those bouncers, and there were repeatedly consistent bouncers. Just in fact, it was a left-hander, a left armer, and he went around the wicket to me. Those are hard. So I'm a left-handed batter, and they're coming like this. Those are really, really hard to pick up. But I did what I needed to do to sway out of the way. Next delivery. Oh, we forgot one other no ball earlier. When the bowler is about to bowl and his hand hits the stumps on the non-striker's end.
That's also right.
Completely forgot about that one. Yeah. Think we covered them all now. By the way, I really, and this is not me saying goodbye because I want you to stay, but I really enjoy both of you being here. This makes it so much more entertaining. Look at that reverse sweep running away for 4. That is a tremendous shot. That's the second time that she's done that, Jessica, and that gets her to 50. Look at this lovely, lovely shot. She's now 52 from 38. Looking at this replay, reverse sweep, and she timed it really beautifully. You could see that on the replay. Can't really see it live, or we didn't see it live from where we are, but looking at that replay, she actually middled that reverse sweep. Now, interestingly, they dropped third man back just to avoid that same shot. But here, look at the replay again. Look at this. Oh, absolutely middling it. It was like a right-handed conventional sweep. Middled it. Really good shot. And now down the leg side. Oh, brushing the pad according to umpire Mane Singh. That's good umpiring. So you started saying something a second ago. What were we saying? Oh, another question coming. Okay, Sanu is warming up. Sanu, I love your contribution. Sanu wants to know, thanks for the information. I hear that martial arts or tennis help performance in cricket.
We just got a wicket. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, my apologies. What did I miss?
She wanted to try too many things, I guess, and try to hit. I think she tried to hit it. We can see the replay.
Okay, here comes the replay.
Take the scoop she was trying.
Get back to you just a second, Sanu. Oh, walking right across, and she's trapped in front. Wanted to play a scoop shot.
Good
Sanu, actually, I'm going to come back to you in just a second. I want to hear both of your opinions about this. A few runs already in the over. A reverse sweep that brings up 50, and here you see again the replay. Walking right across. That would have hit middle and leg a third of the way up. So you've already gotten in this over, let's see, that would have been 4 buys plus 4 runs. So that's 8 runs. And 8 runs in 3 balls. And then you try a reverse sweep. In fact, you try a scoop shot after having gotten to your 50 with a reverse sweep. In your mind, is that necessary? Do you want to keep applying that type of pressure by playing unconventional shots? Or do you already have runs on the board in this over and you want to just play conventionally and then charge toward the back end?
So I believe both are the correct ways, but by looking at the wicket column, they have so many good players sitting in a dugout waiting for the bat. So I feel like that was a right call. Okay. If she could have just hit it or just even edged it, it could have been just a boundary, to be honest. So I think her approach was good. Just the execution part, she just missed it. But overall, I feel like it was a good approach.
Very interesting. Okay, Avni, what do you think?
So earlier I was saying risk is equal to reward, right? Especially
Yep.
for T20. But
Uh-huh.
at the same time, great players like Virat Kohli, they all say, once you hit your 50, you have to reset. So you
Interesting.
can't get carried away also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like both. If you're seeing the ball, you're middling it well, it's your day, you're batting well, then you want to stay at the crease. You want to stay there and extend that, right? Take full use of it. So if it's good to have those shots and use them when the opportunity is there,
Mm-hmm.
and then at times you can also just keep it simple. So it's kind of like both.
I feel like an absolute idiot disagreeing with an international level player. For me, I already have 8 runs, 3 balls. The overall run rate is 7.82. So I've already gotten more in 3 balls than the team has had per over the rest of the innings. I'm well set. I have 50. I want to just keep powering through. I don't want to do anything unconventional. I want to make them bowl to me, and I want the moment of the situation cause them potentially. You're bowling under pressure, 9 wickets in hand. That's pressure for the bowling side, and for me, that's the type of situation that I could take advantage of. So I really hate to disagree with you back there. And look, you played high level cricket. All I did was play in the Houston Cricket League for several years, but to me, it feels more like a lost opportunity. And again, 50 against your name, you could go on and you could be at 75 or 80 in the next 3 overs, but But I do get that you want to continue putting pressure on, so I understand it from that standpoint. So Chinmahi into the attack, and by the way, who's at the wicket now? Gitika Kadali, and that went almost. If there were one more coat of varnish on that off stump, she would have been bowled. Look at this. Look how close this passes to the off stump. Oof.
Oh, that was really close.
So she went for the big drive, actually came back in and missed the inside edge of the bat.
So
So-
as we were talking about the unconventional
Yes,
shots,
uh-huh.
that is one of the negative part also, that you can get carried away.
Yes.
If you are getting shots and getting runs for those shots, you just not even try, you just literally falls to that, okay, now I just want to keep hitting those kind of shots instead of completely forgetting about the different strength. We have seen her playing down the ground also and hitting
Yes.
6-6
Yes.
in the mid-wicket or Cow's corners also, and even to the offside. Wonderful boundaries, right? Playing good cricket. But once you are in that zone and you completely just in that mode, and then you get carried away. So the goal is not to get carried away. If you want to hit it, hit it. Pick your bowler, pick your spot, pick your shots, and believe in your strength. But just, yeah.
There's that replay. That was just a bye. There's the signal from umpire.
So I have to say, you are not wrong at all.
Thank you for trying to make me feel better. Okay, so let's get back to Sanu's question. I repeat. In fact, let's do it after this ball. Slammed through the point area. That's going to be 4. Just providing a little bit of width to Ritu. She does not need an invitation to play that shot. That shot takes her up to an exact 100 strike rate. She's now 59 from 59. And that is, I believe, the end of the over. With one more ball remaining. One more ball, Chinmahi. Score is 138. So who's first going to be eliminated is what I'm looking for. Here's the last ball clipped around the corner. This may be 2 if they run hard. Nope. Thought about it and then decided not to. So that is a leg by, I believe. Yep, there's a signal from the umpire. So end of 18, the score is 139 for 2. So back to Sanu. Sanu wants to know, I hear that martial arts or tennis, etc. help the performance in cricket. What are your suggestions, especially if you want to do other activities that help with batting and bowling? That feels like a question for you, Bhakti.
So I started playing those sports just out of my liking. And it was available near I used to stay back in India. So it was easier for me, and I just fell in love after I went into martial arts. But yes, it taught me the discipline much needed discipline, I have to say, needed at that particular time. And when I went into tennis, it's just individual game. So it's just no one there to soak your pressure. So I learned to rely on myself more, how to self-talk. So that part I learned from the tennis.
Sure.
Yes, as you have already said that cricket is a team sport, but it's one-on-one most of the time. So you have to handle the pressure also and believe yourself. So that was a good shot. There was an edge, but yes, much needed boundary for Ritu, I must say, because she was struggling a little bit earlier, but she just want to keep hitting whatever the ball's left.
Oh, you absolutely take these runs, whether they're edges or off the middle of the bat. They
Any
still
day.
count for 4.
Any day.
So you absolutely will get those. Scorecard shows that Gitika is on strike. I'm pretty sure that's incorrect because there we go. Ritu now 63 from 51. Make that 61. Anyway, finish your thought.
So back to that, if you are interested in playing any sport or any activities in that manner, even a dancing or anything, hiking, running, you can do that. But your intention should not be, okay, whatever is helping me to grow into cricket. No, you should enjoy what you are doing, not just thinking about cricket all the time.
Interesting. Okay.
Because even with the reading, not physical activity, you can learn so much. You can do meditation also. So it's not just about physical activity. Cricket is 90%. I believe that it's a 90% mental game than the
100%.
physical.
I mean, I 100% agree that
Yes,
it's a 90%,
right.
if that makes
I got
sense.
it, yeah. So whatever helps you grow, it's up to individual, to be honest. Like whatever is benefiting you, you should stick to that. It's not like, oh, okay, Virat Kohli is following this, I also should follow. No, same theory won't work with you. You have to find your own way. Yes, you can try different things, learning from the best, but then find your own way. That's all I would say.
Fantastic. And anything that you want to add to that, Avni?
I think I agree with Bhakti about the mental aspect of it. There's so many great players, even in our domestic, all of our USA domestic players and international players that come to play here. And especially these young players that they're sometimes in a situation where they're winning, but sometimes they just lose that temperament. So that mental aspect is very important, and you're going to probably lose more than you win. A shot.
Lovely strike down
Lovely
the ground
boundary.
for 4. So Ritu now up to 68 from 63. And 4 balls, or make that 2 balls remaining. 150 is up. Are you done?
I am out of the
My goodness, the professional player is out.
Ritu just got me out with a bat.
Okay, your number was
160.
160 minus. Oh, I'm not getting mine. 163, I think I said. Oh, I don't know. Ritu might still have me in the game here. Oh, good sliding stop. Oh, it gets through for 4. Oh, my goodness. So 153. So you're done. Lasya is done. You and I are the only 2 in the game, Avni. I don't think I'm really in the game, actually. So, wait.
You are.
10 in 7 balls. That's more than doable.
Yes,
It's doable.
more than doable.
All right. Okay. All right.
I think you're more in the game.
Let's see. Give me a 4. Give me a 4. Ah. That's going to be a single. So that is the end of 19. 154. So the only thing that matters from here is, for my purposes, that 9 runs scored in this over. And you were
160.
160.
6, let's see.
So you want 6 runs to be. You want to run a ball in this over. There's no way that in the 20th over with 8 wickets in hand, they only score 6 runs. I have to think that I'm going to win this.
Death bowlers do.
Who is bowl? I bet it's going to be the captain herself, Snigdha. I bet it's going to be Snigdha. In fact, yes, it appears to be Snigdha. Ooh, that's a hard bowler to get. That's a hard bowler to get 9 runs off of. But she is bowling to Ritu Singh.
Exactly.
Ritu, 72 from 65. Ritu, I need you to end up with 81 runs. Come on. Let's see how we go here. Bang, over extra cover. Protection out there, though. She bobbles it, and they come back for 2. Okay, all right. And you have 4 more runs before you're disappeared and no longer in the game. So this last 2 standing here now. You realize that, right? Next delivery. Full inside out over cover. That's going to be 2 more, I think. Yep, coming back. So 2 balls, 4 runs. You will be done in the next. Actually, your score will be reached in the next 2.
It's a win-win.
How is that a win-win exactly?
Even if they go above, it's good, still better score. So it's a good.
Next delivery. Oh, it's going to be wide. 159. I absolutely hate it being right all the time. I really.
But I think there is a chance that you might also
Fall off.
But if it goes above the score that I said,
you are the near.
I'm the nearest one.
Yes.
And so no question that I would be the winner either way. Bang down to long on. Just
That's a
one
good
run
shot.
there. That was a very good shot. She middled that. In fact, she hit it so well that it's only 1 run. So we're okay. Now you want 2 dot balls. is
We
what
can't
you
take the
want.
competition out of you.
Never at
Never,
all.
right?
I am
Once
fully
a cricketer,
competitive. Once a cricketer, always a cricketer.
cricketer.
I am fully competitive. The 5th ball of the over, or the 4th rather, in the gap, deep mid wicket. That's going to be 4. 164, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very close, very close.
Oh, it wasn't very close at all. You were not even in the same neighborhood. And so now, with 2 balls remaining, if you're Gitika Kodali, you're strong enough to swing for the fences. So I'm thinking she's throwing the kitchen sink at both of these 2 balls.
Yeah.
Thick
Gitika
inside
loves
edge.
The cow corner.
Yes.
And her long levers, so
Yes.
go for it.
So that's a single. So 165. And the batter who gets to face the last ball of the innings has the small matter of 77 runs against her name. Ritu Singh has batted beautifully this entire tournament. This is driven down to long off. They have to come back for the second. Nope, in fact, they don't come back for the second. And either way, it's just a single. So that is the single that ends things here in the first half of this championship match. After having been asked to bat, the what do they call it? ACZ women, make that the MCA women. No, sorry, ACZ has scored a small matter of 166 for 2. Scores are Ritu Singh leading from the front, 78, not out from 69. Sasha Vaya Baneni, 3 from 6. And Jessica, 52 from 40 with 5 4s and a 6. And Gitika Kodali at the end, a 7 from 8. For the bowlers, Aditi Praveen Kumar, 4 overs, none for 39. Chinmahi, 4 overs, 1 for 26. And the only other wicket taken by down at the bottom, Meha Siva Kumar, 3 overs, 1 for 21. And you also had Srinidhi, Shreya, and Anushka, who all bowled relatively decently, but no wickets in those columns. But runs on the board are runs on the board. And runs on the board, 166 runs in a final is a really, really big number, I think. So any last thoughts before we take a quick break for both of you?
No, just thank you for having us, and we enjoyed watching this with you in your company. It was fun.
I didn't like just the one part, losing against you. than that, yeah, I enjoyed every bit.
Thank you to
Can't
both
take
of
the
you.
competition out.
Cannot take the competition out. Thank you to both of you. And for those of you online, we'll be back for the chase in about 10 minutes. See you shortly. Welcome back to the Moosa Cricket Ground in Pearland, Texas for the final match. Make that the final innings of the National Women Cricket League Houston Women's T20 Championship for 2023. SMK Global and iStraff Technologies are your two main sponsors. After having batted first, the ACZ Women's Fire put up the score of 166. 166 for two. Top scorer there was Ritu Singh with 78 runs. And the small matter of 167 to be chased for the championship by the MCA women. Brian Walsh is with you, and I'm happy to be joined here in the commentary area by the captain of the Houston Hurricanes, Miss Celeste DeToy. Did I say that right?
You did, yes.
Celeste, good afternoon. Welcome to the hot seat. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, so I kid a lot. It's not a hot seat in any way, shape, or form. This is Ananya opening the bowling. Right arm around the wicket, bowling to the left-handed Giovanna Aras. So the first ball is outside off stump, off and running. So Celeste, for those who don't know you, and unfortunately that includes me, give me a bit of your history and what brings you here to this tournament.
Well, I've played for Houston before, so this is my second tournament with the Houston team. Mm-hmm. Originally from South Africa.
Really? Shocker, I did not know that.
Yeah, not at all.
It's not like the accent gives you away or anything.
No, not at all. I mean, yeah, my voice is a little bit
Of course.
after this weekend.
Sure.
Captain duties is sometimes rough.
Sure.
It's a lot of talking. So
You're preaching to the choir.
so I'm actually glad to take a break and just,
Good.
But yeah, so I moved to the US about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Got involved in cricket in Orlando, Florida, actually. There's no women's cricket, so I started coaching the youth academy, the Florida Panthers.
Okay.
And that's how I met up with Matali, was through them.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, here I am now, a year later, playing again. I played in Tennessee as well last year with the Jungen team from New York, New Jersey.
Okay.
So yeah.
Where in South Africa are you from?
Pretoria, South Africa. Mm-hmm.
So for those who have no concept of where Pretoria is and who are woefully inadequate with regard to our geography, we're in Australia. See what I mean? My point has been made, as that's played beautifully away through backward point for 4. Where in South Africa is Pretoria?
Johannesburg. It's about half an hour outside of Johannesburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And now, as it relates to, so you said that you're based in Orlando now, right?
Yes.
And you moved from South Africa 4 years ago.
Yes.
What was it that prompted the move in the first place?
It was work initially.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then COVID happened and all of that. So now it's cricket full time. That's the only thing I do.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That is, look, talk to me about the opportunity to ostensibly do something that you do for a living that you also love.
That's actually quite a nice job, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
Especially working with the young kids, seeing how they start out and how they grow. That's actually quite a nice thing to see.
Cricket in South Africa, obviously several different changes in the last 30 or so years. You and I both know the history of that country and how it has contributed to cricket worldwide. But what do you see in the South African team now, and what lessons might you be able to, look at this. I'll get back to that question in a minute. Completely going across the line was Giovanna Aras, playing that one to mid-wicket when she should have probably been playing it in the V. And unfortunately for her, she loses her leg stump. Seeing here on the replay, very full. And boy, on that replay, probably not quite the replay that we're looking for, but the idea is that I think she went across the line and lost her leg stump. So getting back to the question I was asking you, what can you as a South African and seeing all of the changes that have happened in South African cricket, are there any lessons that you think could be applied to our cricket here in this country?
That's actually a good question. I do think so. I think the platform that was given to the women's game back home, got much larger as the years went on. So I think actually that's something that can be applied here. Like give them a bigger platform, and I think something like this tournament and stuff, it helps set up the goals. The talent is immense if you look at all of these goals that played over the weekend. So we definitely have the talent.
That's interesting. And so clearly, for somebody who has been yelling on the field for the last 3 days as captain, not only are you losing your voice, but
I told you, it's not a good thing.
So that's interesting. So tell me a little bit about your playing career in South Africa.
I started out just playing for fun when I was younger. Always had to play in the boys' team, obviously.
Sure.
Because, growing up back in the 90s, there was definitely no women's or ladies or girls cricket.
Sure.
And I just moved through the ranks with the boys. Went to university, played cricket at university, and then I played some cricket back in England. I played for Harold Wood Cricket Club in Romford, and then I also played a few games for Essex.
Very interesting. I'm assuming that you're at least paying some attention to Major League Cricket and Minor League Cricket in this country.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, look at that cheeky looking shot.
That's a good shot.
Opening the face and running it down to deep third four. Should have been two, I would have thought, but they only get one. There has been a disproportionate number of South Africans who were drafted in the Major Leagues last Sunday. Tell me your thoughts about that. I think some of and if you want to point out any specific players, that would be good too.
I think that's a little bit of a tough question to answer. You might just end up saying the wrong thing. But I think it's with quite a few countries that happens. There's so many good players that you literally have to compete for your place. And I think that is the biggest thing.
So I appreciate you shouldering arms to that one to let it go through to the keeper. Expertly played. I will tell you that since we're in the context of South Africans who I know who play in the league, and I'm almost loath to start calling names because invariably I'll miss one or two, but I think Corny Dry, Andreas House,
Dane
Pete,
Rusty Theron, yeah, that's quite
Rusty
a few.
Theron. I forgot about Rusty.
Yep.
I see. And now I know I would have missed two or three people who I absolutely should know, and I'm not thinking of the names right now. But I tell you that just being able to be around people who have played cricket at that high level and seeing what they can mean for development. And, in the context of this tournament, we're talking about women's development, but the bigger picture of development also includes young boys playing around the country who can then learn under the wings and under the tutelage of players of the caliber of the ones that we're talking about right now.
No, that's definitely true. I think it's always good if you have somebody with that much experience. It creates a good team environment as well, and especially with the young ones.
Lovely looking shot. And by the way, so once again, we're speaking to Celeste DeToy, the captain of the Houston Hurricanes. Celeste, I've been taking questions from listeners, and Sanu Varghese wants your opinion, your professional opinion as a cricketer on a very specific bowler, Ananya, the opening bowler who bowled the first over. I suspect that she's coming on back now to bowl her second, third in the innings. And in fact, yes, she's about to hand her cap to umpire Mani Singh. Sanu wants to know, looking at Ananya the bowler, I think she's bowling a nice line and length. What do you think? And so this one for you should be a half volley on leg stump. So the other one you had to let go through to the keeper. This one you should be able to put away.
Yes, I do think she's a very good bowler. The line and length is quite good. It's just been difficult with this pitch over the course of the 3 days. I mean, especially with the weather. I mean, it played much differently yesterday than it played obviously today. So, but all in all, I think she's definitely been doing a really good job. And you'll see now. Yep.
So she's not bowling express pace, but with control, you don't need to bowl express pace.
Yeah, and I think that's a big misconception with the young kids these days. They think you need to be quick the whole time, and I mean, you don't have to. It's if you put it in the right spot, then there's absolutely nothing more than you can do or have to do.
Absolutely. So look again,
Yeah,
finding the outside
yeah.
edge. It's on that right line. It's on the right length. So at that pace, and I think Sanu, we're in agreement here that when you're bowling that pace, even inside the power play where you don't have much margin for error, if you're bowling that off stump line and you're just bowling that length that makes the batter come forward, that alone is good enough.
Definitely, because I think as well the batter now needs to rethink the whole playing the strategy and the shots they're gonna play.
This is good. So your coaching, tell me a little bit about your coaching.
So I'm with the Florida Panthers Youth Academy. It is kids from the ages about 6 to 17, and it's just, again, it's all about the development. So again, start small, and we have quite a few talented kids. We'll definitely would like to see them go up in the ranks.
Your coaching style. Give me a little bit about what can a child expect. And I say child, you said 6 to 17. So maybe the 17-year-olds aren't exactly considered children, but what is your coaching style like, and how do you sort of implement the concepts that you need to implement among your charges?
I think a coach plays a very important role. So I will always have a discussion with the individual, and I would like to know from them, like, what is exactly that you want to do, what is exactly that you want to achieve, and
Good work in the
that
field.
was good fielding.
Absolutely.
It was really good fielding. And then I would base it around that, and it's always about being honest as well. I think that's a big thing when it comes to coaching, just to be very honest and upfront, and just help them. Everybody is not the same. We all play differently, and the thing is with me, that just dropped short.
With you.
So with me is I'm the type of coach that I would make sure that they are fully prepared for a game, and definitely give them all the knowledge and all of that. But as soon as they step out on that field, it is entirely up to them. And you can't fix what's not broken.
Sure. Okay, so I know you're absolutely struggling trying to not cough. So I'm going to ask one more question, and then I'll give you your unconditional release so you can rest your voice. Yes. Follow-up question from Sanu, who wants to know, well, first of all, he says, he or she, my apologies, Sanu, I don't know if it's a he or she, but Sanu wants to know, first of all, thank you, and does height play a role as well in bowling a nice line and length?
That's actually a question that has been brought up quite a bit. I know that was definitely just going down a bit.
Yep.
I think that's a question that gets brought up a bit, but the general feel is the taller you are, the more bounce you get. But I also, again, it's how you control the ball. It's how you control your speed, putting it in the right spots, the line and the length, like you said. So I think if you're a little bit taller, you'll get that extra bounce and stuff. But I really don't think it makes such a big difference.
For my answer to that question, I would bring up a name who anyone who grew up in my era certainly would know, and maybe you younger folks might know also. Oh, and I know you're younger than me. I just turned 55 on Wednesday. You're nowhere near my age. I know that for a fact exactly. So this person started playing in the Caribbean, played for West Indies. In my mind, was our best pace bowler ever, and that's saying a lot. And also spent a lot of time playing in South Africa. The late, great Malcolm Marshall.
Yeah.
Malcolm Marshall was no more than 5'9". And try telling Malcolm Marshall that he couldn't get good bounce on the wicket. As a comparison, somebody like Curtly Ambrose, who is not only these days a bass player and a singer in a band, which is so cool, but about a foot taller than Malcolm Marshall. That's driven right down the ground for 4. And he also obviously generates good bounce. So I think, Sanu, what we're saying. Oh, Sanu responds, I am a she. Sanu, I'm so sorry for calling you a she. Sanu, thank you. And by the way, thank you for being so engaging. You are the primary person who's in the chat, and I really appreciate your contributions. So I think what we're saying is whether you are 6'8" Curtly Ambrose or 5'9" Malcolm Marshall, you get out of a decent pitch what you put into it, and if you bend your back, you'll get the good bounce that you're looking for. This is going down the leg side. So Celeste, I'm not going to torture you anymore. My goodness, thank you so much for stopping in and talking to us, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So that was Celeste the Toy, captain of the Houston Hurricanes, and thank you for playing hurt for a few minutes. I really appreciate that. This is a good shot over the top of extra cover that runs away for 4. So Chinmay getting into her work. She's now 13 from 8. That is the end of the over. The score is 30-1. $30-1 after 4. Scoring rate is 7.5. And in order to win this match and the championship, the MCA women need to score at the rate of 8.56 and over. So this is Adanya, who's taken up the attack coming from the Massey Ranch Road end. Adanya, right arm over the wickets. And she is bowling to Meha Sivakumar. There is an Ananya who opened the bowling. Advika who bowled second. Ananya bowled the third over, and this is now Adanya. Quick single taken to extra cover. It goes through. This good aggressive running. Wanting to make sure that they keep the scoreboard ticking. The last thing that you want to have is not have the opportunity to pick up runs when you get them. Daniel for short run. And the late cut being attempted here by Meha Sivakumar. She's on 16 from 14. Missing out on that attempted late cut. But scoring opportunities are all around the ground if you look for them. So even though a handful of runs have gone in that direction between or behind point, you certainly have the opportunity to get runs on all sides of the wicket as well. Full and driven, all right back to the bowler, Danya, and she drops it. I think she may have just hurt herself. You see her reacting there. I want to get a look at that again because it was struck right back in her direction with some power. And so I think she's going to be fine. Just all of a sudden you see her flashing that right wrist. In fact, that left wrist struck back at her with power. And I don't think that it was a difficult chance, but a chance nonetheless. Driven into the extra cover area for one. Throw coming down to the keeper's end. So 1 ball remaining here in the 5th over. 1 ball plus 1 over remaining in the power play. And I think that you'll see as that over rate or make that run rate start to climb. It is now 18 or 8.77 is what they require. MCA women are scoring at the rate of 7.03. So they'll need to address that in some way. So that should just be 1 ball remaining in the over. Score is 34 for 1. And Adanya with that last ball of the over, very full down the leg side and goes for wide. And I happen to be joined here by one of the more recognizable faces in all of Houston, not just for cricket, but just in Houston, period. Mr. Yogesh Patel, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Brian. Thanks for the introduction.
Yogesh.
I'm just here to support the cricket, and I love to come here and watch the up and coming, talented young women playing the game. So,
Yogesh, I always talk about how cricket started in Houston and the fact that you and a handful of other cricketers from India, from the West Indies, from England, put your heads together and put together the Houston Cricket League in 1978. Cricket has progressed to the point that we're now talking about 45 years later.
yes.
A women's tournament played at one of 2 ICC certified stadiums in the country right here in Houston. Just talk a little bit about what cricket used to be like and how it's grown over the years in Houston.
I think when I first moved into Houston in '76, there was few people like in a parking lot used to play a little bit cricket, and then we thought, okay, let's go to play to one of the university fields so we can play a little broader field with a real cricket ball. So we started playing at Rice University a little bit, and then from there, a lot of Indian, West Indian, and Pakistani people saw us, and they wanted to play more cricket. So I said, we decided among 3 of us, why don't each one make their own country team in our way? So that's where we can start a cricket going on, and it's eventually happened that we kind of like grew up from 3 teams to 5 teams to 20 teams, and now you know that how far Houston has come. Even we used to have a team coming from Dallas and Austin come in and play to Houston cricket. And then we encourage all of them to go ahead and start their own leagues within their own cities so we can have interleague games also going on. I think that's how we started basically.
Yogesh, when you and I were playing against each other in the 1990s, there was no such thing as women's cricket
No.
anywhere near here. We are now playing in a tournament where young ladies can come all the way down here to Houston and play. And we have one of those young ladies right here, Brenda Raghavan. Brenda, am I pronouncing your name properly?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about you, Brenda. What brings you here? And I'm assuming that this young lady over here is your mother? Yeah. Tell us about you, about your mother, and about your playing career. Excuse me, your playing career. And what does it mean to you to be playing at this tournament in Houston?
I've been playing for like 3 years now, and it's great to like play in an international ground with the U19 players. And my mom, she's like very supportive, and she like helps me a lot to practice every day, and she brought me here, so that's amazing. Yeah.
Brenda, how old are you?
I'm 12. I just turned 12. Yeah.
So, Yogesh, 12 years old and playing on an ICC certified ground in a women's tournament. So, we didn't see anything remotely close to this growing up. So, what do you think that means in terms of our overall development?
I think what you can see over the time of period, what you say in Houston, it's just like maybe somehow other, there are a lot of volunteers around the Houston area, and especially when SCL, when we stepped up every 2 years, we have a new president coming in. We are lucky enough that we have so many presidents came in.
Give me just a second. The wicket has just fallen because I believe that was Chinmahi who was looking to go big over the offside, over the onside rather, just ending up top edging one. And Jessica herself on the follow through completes the return catch. So the second wicket goes down. The score is 45 for 2. Here we see on the replay, just off a short run, left arm around the wicket and just skied. And look at Jessica judging this to perfection and taking it very easily. Yogesh, a bowler may drop somebody else's catch, but they're not going to drop their own catch.
Usually they don't want to do that. No, I think she did a pretty good job of getting into it and right underneath the ball and made sure that it is her wicket. So.
Absolutely. So back to you for a second, Brenda. So tell us about what role you play in your side. Are you a bowler or you're a batter? Talk about your role in the side.
I'm a leg spinner, and I also am a batter, and I'm usually in the top order, and my bowling is also like I go in like maybe like the 5th or like 10th over, and yeah.
You bowl 5th through 10th. So you'd bowl in a typical T20 match, you'd be bowling overs 5, 7, 9, 11?
It usually depends, like maybe 2 overs through like 5 to 10, and then a little bit later in the death overs.
I think I heard you say you're 12 years old. What is a 12-year-old doing bowling leg spin? That's the hardest skill in cricket.
I was actually a wicket keeper, and then I was a pace bowler in like 2021, and
2021, you were like 10 years old.
Wow.
yeah. I don't want to say I was too good, but I bowled pace. But and then my coach, he said, you want to try leg spin? So in the year 2022, I'm slowly learning how to bowl leg spin. So yeah.
Absolutely outstanding. So, Mom, what's your name? Kripa. If you don't mind, can you come over? So, what is it about the sport of cricket that convinced you and family to allow Brenda to play?
It runs in our family.
Okay.
It probably started in 1940s. And my dad is a cricketer himself, and he's a leg spinner.
Ah.
So,
okay.
Although I didn't play growing up, I grew up in India, and cricket was still a men's game back then in the 90s. I used to play gully cricket. But my dad often said, if I was a boy, I would have played for India. So it was his dream. He played division level cricket. He couldn't
Sure.
go up to the countryside, but he was I've heard and I've seen him play. He's an awesome leg spinner.
Wonderful.
So it was a no-brainer. When I had my first son, he was like, I'm so glad that we have a grandson because he can play cricket. That's the first thing he said. And my son plays too.
Does he? Okay, awesome. What's your son's name?
Bhargav.
And where does he play?
He plays U13, U15.
Okay. Where are you all based, by the way? You here? Where are you?
We are in DC.
Oh, you're in D.C.?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
And you came all the way down here for this?
Absolutely. This is wonderful. Cricket is like, it's a way for me to connect with my roots, and it's a way for me to give it to my children, and it's something that we enjoy I enjoy talking, and we love watching cricket on TV, and my son is probably watching this right now. It doesn't matter. He can watch, I mean, we generally watch anything
Sure.
from any kind of cricket. This is high intensity game, and NWCL, I think she's been participating for the past 2 years, but this is super competitive, and I'm impressed with how these girls are playing. I mean, high hitting, high scores, and I think it's raising the bar, and even for girls like Brinda to perform more, perform better. So this is fantastic. Hats off to the organizers and making this happen, and allowing girls like Brinda to participate. This is wonderful.
That's really good to hear you say, and it's good to know that you've kept it in the family. So, Brenda, how far do you think you can get as a cricketer? Or how far do you want to get as a cricketer?
If I really continue it and work hard, then I want to get into the U.S. under 19, because I'm kind of young right now, and then in a couple of years, and then after that to the regular U.S. team. So yeah.
I love how motivated you are, and you just stated a very specific goal that I think is very achievable. So I'm going to ask you to be your own critic. What do you need to do to be able to play cricket for the U.S.?
I think I need to work harder, just come to more tournaments, because there's I get to have the exposure and to play against all these under 19 girls, and then compete against them, and then slowly make it up in a couple years. Yeah.
So, Mom, you're nodding furiously. Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's their life, and whatever they want to do, we are supportive. And if they have that dream, she has the dream, we are willing to back them up. I mean, not willing to push if that's their dream.
Sure.
And in fact, yesterday, when we were playing against this team, Brinda was bowling to Snigdha Paul.
Okay.
The last over. And
yes. Okay. Now I remember. Yes. Okay. You bowled very well. The thing that stood out for me is that you bowled with courage. And it takes a lot of courage for a spinner to bowl in the death overs. And the fact is, as a leg spinner, generally a leg spinner is a good asset to have, but as a leg spinner bowling to a left-hander, then that's hard. And you still bowled very well, I thought. So what's your mentality like if you're coming on to bowl and you're bowling to somebody like Snigdha Paul? How do you approach bowling to such a batter?
I don't really think of her as, even though she's really, really good and she's a U.S. Under 19 player, but I think her as another player who I've bowled to before, and in that death overs, last over, nothing really special, I can still get her out, and yeah, that's how I thought of it.
Where does that confidence come from? Most 12-year-olds wouldn't have that kind of confidence.
I probably didn't have it when I was playing, but I'm slowly like getting more confident as I play. So, yeah.
Have you ever heard the phrase, and I heard it's been said by one of our other guests today, that cricket is 90% mental? Have you ever heard that?
Probably from my coach, yeah. Yeah, and like, yeah.
What separates cricketers who are playing at the highest level from cricketers who only get to club level can sometimes have nothing to do with their physical ability and everything to do with what goes on here. What you just said, I think, is evidence of the fact that you have a very strong mental makeup, and I think that's going to be the biggest determinant of how far you get. What do you think?
I think like even if they practice the same, I think it's like the attitude while they're playing the game rather, and like not like just like kidding around throughout the game, just having a particular like goal and attitude. But also like a couple percent is the practice, but like even if they practice the same, I think the attitudes is what makes it up the most.
Mom, over to you. I have nothing else to say to that. That's a good-looking shot. That may go away for 4. It does. Good-looking shot. Forced off the back foot. This is Meha Sivakumar, now up to 26 from 22. 1 ball remaining in the 8th over. So, Mom, where does that confidence come from? By the way, please tell me your name again.
Kripa.
K-R.
IPA. Like
Kripa.
how you'd pronounce Christy with a K.
Got it. Kripa.
Yeah.
Got it. So where does that confidence come from?
I think she's born with it. Sometimes it works in our favor, sometimes it does not. But we'll take it when it works in our favor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And your son, Bhargav, you said?
That's right.
How old is Bhargav? And you said he also plays. Tell me more about him.
He just turned 13, so they're just a year apart.
Sure.
And he's a pace bowler and an opening batsman. So
Kid after my own heart.
yeah.
Yogesh will tell you that several years ago, I considered myself a pace bowler. And I didn't open the bat. Yeah, once or twice I opened the batting, but usually when I came into bat, all they do is just give the ball to Yogesh, and I was a walking wicket.
Unbelievable.
I can say it. When I was playing at that level in the 90s, I was already 44 years old, and he was just a young kid. Just came from Jamaica, so and I was an off spinner and he was a left-hand batsman. So as an off spinner, it's a dream to bowl to the left-hander. Just like she likes to bowl to a right-hander, the leg spins. Same thing here. Off spinner bowling to a left-hand batsman, dream for me.
I
But
was
we go
a
along with,
walking wicket. He's being kind. I was a walking wicket. Okay, there's 2 off spinners in his side. I could never, ever play. He was one, the other was Dharmendra.
Yeah.
And, they'd bowl me behind my back. It was really just ugly.
It's just like, when you come back from home from India, spinners are our most biggest asset in India.
Yep.
Like you say, your father was a leg spinner. The spinners are the biggest asset in India. Like I remember in the old days when India has a Gavaskar and them playing and Chandrasekhar, Raghavan and all the 4 spinners. I think we used to keep only 1 fast bowler. Couple of balls bowled by the Gavaskar and the spinners come in. So it's like, but I think what her mental toughness is there, and what advice I give her, whenever you play cricket, just enjoy the game.
Yes.
Don't just play it as just a game. Enjoy that this is what I love to do and this is what I want to do. Once you start loving the game, your natural ability will take over. All right?
So can I ask you both a question?
Absolutely.
So someone like, I know you have you've had a lot of guests on this commentary box today and yesterday for the past couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
What advice, so 2 questions, what advice would you give to someone like her that's very young and inexperienced, naive, or dreamer, whatever you want to call?
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give them? And the second thing is mental toughness. You said 90% is mental.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that someone is born with, or can you develop that?
Really interesting question with regard to 2 questions. So with regard to the first, and I think you said, what advice would I give to somebody who's coming along? I'm assuming you mean with the cricket career, right?
Exactly.
So the first advice that I'd say is that everything that is... Hi. Okay. Give just a second, okay? Everything that is within your own control, you maximize what you can do from your own utility. What I mean by that is you can control the balls that you bowl. You can control how you can bat. The things that are out of your control is if you get selected or give... Just a second. Okay, so don't worry about things that you cannot control. Things that you can't control would be whether or not you get selected, where you get to bowl, at what point does your captain decide to give you the ball. Things that are not in your direct control, do not worry about them. The only thing that matters is, you know what, I really would prefer to bowl overs 5, 7, 9, and 11. But the captain just gave me my first over in over number 17 when the batter is, 98 of 40 balls. You don't control that. What you're having to do is say, all right, he has or she has 98 of 40 balls. What am I going to do to make sure that she gets my best ball? So the things that are in the span of your control are things that you are going to need to maximize your utility from. And as far as the second question, I think you asked, can you sort of hone or create or improve mental strength, or are you born with it? To some extent, you're born with it. But I'd also say that almost like anything else, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So what I mean by that is, you know what? I just went and played in a game. I just traveled all the way to Houston. I bowled 2 overs, and they took 37 runs off of my 2 overs. I have 2 choices. I can sit there and stew and, oh my goodness, where did I go wrong? Or I can analyze it and say, you know what, those first 3 balls were too pitched up. They were too full. Or maybe they were too short. So what do I need to do to make sure that I block out what just happened, put it out of my head, not necessarily forget about it, but have, in baseball, they say, have a short memory. If you like baseball at all? No. Nothing at all? Okay, good. A baseball relief pitcher is kind of like what you do. You have the starting pitchers who come in, and then the relief pitchers come in afterwards. Relief pitchers can sometimes be put into really difficult positions. They might come up to bat with the bases loaded, and somebody hits one 450 feet. You give up 4 runs. 4 runs in cricket is nothing. 4 runs off 1 stroke in baseball is a big deal. But as a pitcher, you have to be able to say, you know what? Put that out of your mind. It's a bad ball. It got what it deserved. What am I going to do with the next ball? And the more that you're in situations like that, and the more that you challenge yourself, and the more that you say, here's what I did and didn't do, and here's what I'm going to do better the next time, that's the process of improving your mental strength, and that's something that improves over time. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yogesh?
Yeah. Like what he said, when you are young and you're playing in, like he said, things you don't control, don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'd advise something like that, every game you play or every practice you go, when you go home at the end of the day, analyze yourself. by yourself. Think of what I did right today, what I did wrong today, and work on something like, say, in my fielding, maybe I didn't take the right steps or something like that. I prepare myself, okay, next time I'm going to make sure I do my fielding improvements, whatever it takes. Sometimes, it's a mundane job. Like most of the cricketers normally used to be, they don't like fielding much. Okay, everybody likes to bowl and bat.
Yep.
That's the first thing they want. But I tell you example of John T. Rhodes. He's a great South African player. One time John T. Rhodes said, among all the greats playing in batting, I'm not a bowler, I'm just a little batsman. But all the greats playing in South Africa, I was like a nobody batsman. So I told myself how I can get into the team. So I started improving my fielding first. And he said that once I improved, I got few times and the 12th man, then I performed well. And he said after that, when I learned my fielding is my biggest asset. So he said even until his career ended, at the end of every game, whenever the days end, he finished, he goes out, takes showers and comes out like 100, 150 balls in the buckets and put the stumps and start hitting the stump even after the game is over. And that's you have to know what your strengths are. And that's what you do. And like mental toughness, I'm a spinner and you are a spinner too. So sometime somebody's going to hit you for a six. At that time, in the beginning, I used to get kind of like, oh, he hit me six. What am I going to do now? Then I thought, my coach told me, listen, you are a spinner. If somebody hits the ball to six, that means he's going to hit the ball in the air. So that's your chance to get him out. So think that way, positively. If that guy is going to hit me here, I'm going to change something to make him miss time, and I'm going to get him out. That's how I used to do that, and I always get the wicket that way. If somebody hit me six,
guilty as charged.
if somebody hit me six, I smile. I smile myself. Okay, here is my next victim. So that's how a little thing you put in your head. This is what like. If you drop a catch in a game, I as a bowler used to tell my fielders, if somebody drops the catch in my bowling, I go to next him. Don't worry about it, because I don't want him to think about that ball again and again, because he's next one he might drop. So I tell him, don't worry about it. You tried it, you did your best, I'm okay with it. So it's just like some of the things, and like he said, with little experience, you will learn a lot from it. And whenever you go to your scene, you may be playing, a lot of seniors will be playing with you in front. There is always a things to learn from anybody. Even if people younger than you, you can still. Even if me and you are playing on the same team, I can still learn a lot of things from you too. Okay? So it's always a learning process, no matter how big cricketer you become or not. But that goes long way. And the cricket is not just only game only. It's a life lessons. That's what you get, discipline, how to work with the other people, how to cooperate with each other, work as a team. So it's a great thing, and you are lucky that your parents are so much supportive of you. Best thing to do. And I wish you all the best. Hope to see you more here.
Yes.
Okay.
Words of wisdom. Is this the first time you've been down here, by the way?
For cricket, yes.
Okay. What was the other reasons that you came down here before?
For conferences, work really. I'm
Okay.
a nutritionist.
You're a nutritionist. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I'll have a question for you.
Sure thing.
And this may apply more so for Brenda than it does Yogesh and me, because our playing days are long behind us. So for anybody who's listening right now, what, from a nutrition standpoint, do they need to do to optimize their playing ability?
Absolutely. I just did a presentation on that for the club recently. Nutrition
Fantastic.
for cricket.
Okay.
Yeah. So a couple of things when you're playing in hot conditions. This is nothing new.
Yep.
A lot of water, hydration. When I did the research for that presentation, I learned that if you're thirsty, even if you're dehydrated by 1%, you're going to miss the line like that.
Yes.
Wow.
1%. That's all it takes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a very technical, kind of a geeky type question.
Sure.
How do you determine what you just said to be accurate when you do the research? What's that research like that allows you to determine even 1% less than hydration is going to affect your performance.
They would have done the study. I think this data comes from Australia, so I believe they would have looked at the players and how they're performing, and that's how you determine.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. Number two, I know there is a lot of discussion when you talk about athletes in general. That is like, oh, get your protein and make sure you get your protein right. But for athletes, if you're an NFL player or a cricketer, doesn't matter. What matters is carbs. And carbs will help you in the long run in terms of recovery, muscle recovery, and especially when the girls are playing back-to-back games, you absolutely need to load up on carbs. Otherwise, your muscle is not going to move. No matter how hard you practice, what determines on the day is how well you eat and what you drink. So those things are crucial. And protein is important, fat is important.
Sure.
But complex carbs, good carbs are going to get you through. So we saw long innings by a lot of players. They're probably eating well.
So, two things. Number one, I needed you 25 years ago when I was playing. Secondly, I'll get back to that in a second. Lofted in the deep, catchable opportunity, and she doesn't judge it properly. It lands in front of her. That should have been a wicket, but it ends up landing right in front of that fielder long on. Secondly, what you just said, there's almost sometimes a reflexive reaction that people have. Carbs equals bad. And, for a 55-year-old guy who sits around and watches TV, then loading up on carbs is probably not the best idea. But carbs to an athlete effectively provide, let's call it the gas for the engine that they're running in. That's interesting. That's and you did that presentation for the club, you said?
Yep. We are part of a team called Loudon Cubs based in DC. So I did as part of the club presentation, I worked on this. And can I clarify one quick thing regarding carbs?
Sure.
So
please. This is so helpful, by the way. Keep talking.
Yeah, definitely. So there is simple carbs that we all love. Cookies, candies, all of that.
Okay.
And there is complex carbs, which you get from whole grains, like whatever you eat. So any whole grain for that matter.
Sure.
So here in this country, we have electric cars that are being popularized. And then we have like gas-based cars.
Yes.
So you can't put gas in an electric car and expect it to perform well. So you want to make sure that you have the right fuel so that you get an optimum performance. If you're going to put in the wrong fuel, yeah, it can run, but is it going to run to the fullest efficiency? Probably not. So make sure that you eat well and eat the right food. So complex carbs are probably absolutely important for players, and make sure they have that. Yep.
Very, very helpful. So for any parent who's listening, who, in fact, I'll get back to that just a second. Look at this delivery from Ritu Singh. Tossed up, and I think that one is going down the leg side. So not given, and this is hit straight. That might be a boundary. Dead straight, and hits right between long on and long off for 4. So Snigdha Paul warming up. She's up to 19 from 19. That is the end of the over. 84 for 2. They're exactly at the halfway point in the chase. They need another 83 from 8 at the rate of 10.38 runs and over. So for parents who want to see their kids succeed, whatever sport.
Right.
So you said, here there's a parent here that probably want the kids to succeed at cricket, but you have parents all around who you're in America. So football, basketball, baseball, whatever the sport is. Express to those parents how important their proper nutrition is in addition to all the other preparation that their children are doing.
So first of all, this is something that I did mention in the presentation. I think each of the kids are practicing very hard, and that's reflective on their performance, right? So no matter how hard you practice, on the day off, the performance is probably reflective of what you ate the day before.
Wow, that's a
and what you ate
punch.
What you ate that morning. So when you're talking about, there is this famous slogan, eat, sleep, and repeat, play cricket or something like that.
Yes.
So the first thing that comes is eat. So making sure you eat the right thing matters. And couple of things. So there are things that you can, I'm more than happy to share more on this, but what you eat the previous night is going to help. What you eat that morning is important. I mean, for convenience, we all tend to, especially in tournaments like this, we tend to go with pizzas and such. So no offense, I love pizza. Yeah. But is it going to help you perform better? Probably not, because the fat is obviously something that takes harder to digest. In addition to all the uneasiness that comes with playing long innings, you also are going to have those butterflies because of the fat that's sitting undigested. So I wouldn't go for something very greasy the night before or the morning, especially before the game. So make sure you choose the right food. Anything that's closer to nature, bananas. I mean, if you look at cricketers these days, it's like whatever, IPL, whichever tournament that you look for, they're not eating something very fancy. They're eating a banana or they're eating water. Very simple, closer to nature, we are fine. So basically make sure that you're making the right choices, and that will help you perform at the optimal level. Yep.
Absolutely fascinating.
Yep. This was never used to be the thing, and now I think sports nutrition was not a thing 10 years ago. And when I was researching for this, someone was mentioning, even at the international level, someone asked, okay, how is it eating well going to help me in my cover drive? Not directly, but probably timing the shot better. So it's hard to explain, but now I think there is a lot more awareness. And I think kids make the choices, and it's equally parents' responsibility to make sure that they select the right food for the kids and make sure, and eating well throughout the season is also important.
Really, really fascinating.
Yep.
And, I sort of fell behind here in my live chat because we've been taking questions from listeners throughout. Sanu said, even though this is not directly in relation to what you were just saying, she sent this comment earlier. Thanks for the lovely commentary, and the coverage is tough. Okay, this is maybe more for me. It's tough talking all through the tournament. This one is to you. Great cheers to all the kids for their performance, and that absolutely includes you. So know that there are people who are watching and who are appreciative of exactly what you did. And then everyone who was helped in this, I'm thinking that would include you too. So really, this is something like this does not happen without contributions, obviously, for the parents who do the parenting thing, and absolutely they're there for their kids. But then the additional piece that I wasn't aware of until you just started talking, this is hit down the ground, catchable, and dropped. At long off, there have been a lot of drops in the outfield today, and that's another one that probably should have been taken. But in the last 10 or so minutes, the information that you provided, I think, goes a very long way toward helping any young cricketers or any other athletes to be able to hone their craft. Now, this is a catch that is taken, and finally a wicket falls, and that's a big one. That's Meha Sivakumar, 40 from 42, but the top edge is taken at backward point, and the third wicket goes down, 90 for 2. Here we see on the replay, this is a sort of a tossed-up delivery, and sliced off the top edge and taken at backward point. That's a good catch, well judged, and I think you'll see that 3 wickets are down. The required rate is now 11.55. So we don't have a whole lot of time. So I'm going to excuse you two young ladies with your thanks, or with my thanks to each of you. Brenda, wonderful talking to you. And, oh my goodness. Krupa, thank you so much for talking to us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, and it was a pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Talk to you very soon.
Thank you, guys.
And so we'll be getting another person in the booth very shortly. And in the meantime, the play will resume. The new batter is going to be Shreya. Shreya joins her captain, Snigdha Paul. And all of a sudden, this game just got interesting, Yogesh. 12 runs per over needed, but they have 7 wickets in hand. Do you think that MCA can do it?
I think looks like the MCA still has to have a going little bit faster rate, because you can wait for the last few overs to continue this thing on. So it will be better them to start working on that. I think they still need another 6.5 hours to go and almost another 77 runs needed. So it's obviously they have to work a little faster. But I think the bowling is really, really very accurate at the moment. So, but you have to take your chances in T20 because that's where you want. You don't want to leave it to last 3 overs to score 20 and over. So here to you, bro.
20 and over would be hard. And so this is Shreya, who is at the wicket. 3 balls faced. This is good bowling by Ritu Singh. Ritu, a brilliant bowler, brilliant all-rounder. And Yogesh, we're joined here in the commentary area by Mr. Sudhakar Kanamuri. Oh, what did I just miss?
Almost.
Okay. Almost the caught ball.
That was done, yeah.
Oh, it's out?
Yeah,
okay,
it's out.
so we'll get back to my introduction shortly because apparently another wicket has just fallen. Here's a replay. Yeah. Thank you for picking us up in the media center because I wasn't paying attention. So tossed up and stroked, in the air, and that's a good catch by Ritu. You see the smile on her face because she knows that it's a big wicket. And all of a sudden, the captain is still there, Snigdha Paul, but the required rate is now up to 12.83 runs and over. So just another 6 overs remaining. So I was in the middle of saying, Mr. Sudhakar Kanamuri, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, Brian. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me here.
So our tournament here does not happen at all without the assistance of sponsors or the resources provided by sponsors, specifically iStrive Technologies. Tell us about iStrive Technologies and what made you decide to be a sponsor of the NWCL since 2021.
NWCL was the basic platform for my daughter. My daughter started in 2018. She's come on to ball now.
Ah,
yeah. That's pressure.
So this just got really interesting. So you're not going to have very coherent comments for the next couple balls. So it was a platform that was provided for Stravia.
Yes.
And as such, you I don't want to say rewarded because it's not a quid pro quo.
No.
But you saw it fit out of the goodness of your heart to repay some of what your daughter has been able to experience by supporting the NWCL. Is that fair?
Yes, because the girls' cricket needs a lot of support right now from the community.
Mm-hmm.
And as my daughter got interested in the game of cricket, that was the important part here. So she was interested in the game, and then we wanted to see like how the girls' cricket can be improved. And then we saw Ranjit Singh and NWCL were doing so great. And the platform that Shravya got to get more confidence in the game.
First of all, you are speaking remarkably calmly for somebody whose daughter is in the middle of bowling and over. So,
okay.
All right. I'll ask you to get back to iStrive Technologies in a little bit. But how difficult is it to watch your daughter play?
It is because she takes a lot of pride in her bowling.
Mm-hmm.
She is trying to improve a lot and not bowl any extras. Mm-hmm. That's her motto right now.
Sure.
No extras in most of the tournaments. This tournament she has been like a little wayward. Gave like probably 3 extras so far. The whole tournament. I know how much she must be thinking about it.
But I'll tell you what, she's bowling to two batters, number one, who are very accomplished, and then number two, to two batters who know they need to score 14 runs and over to win.
That's true.
And so they're going at her very aggressively.
Yeah.
This over already has conceded somewhere around 5 runs, I think.
Yeah, 5 runs.
So
Yeah.
that's testament to how well she's bowling.
That's
And I'm not just saying that because you're sitting here. This is brilliant bowling in this context.
Yeah.
And in fact, the dot ball to end things here in the 15th. What a brilliant over. 5 runs coming from that over, which means that the required rate is now 14.4, all thanks to Stravia.
Stravia and NWCL, for that reason, the discussion was going on.
Sure.
This is what I was talking about. This is the confidence that she got. And I know this is not yet to the wire, but this is still a pressure situation. I think
Of
she
course,
was bowling
absolutely.
the third over or fourth of her over.
Mhm.
I think it's the third one.
Yeah, she's bowled 3.
Yeah. And then
3 overs, none for 16.
Yeah.
I don't care about the none. I care about the 16.
correct.
That is huge.
Yes. And that's where she has been most adding value to the team that she is playing. She has been playing NWCL Daredevils and now ACZ Women Fire. That's her role, and she knows exactly what her role is. And of course, she would want to have few more wickets in that column, but she's happy with the with restricting the runs.
So I had this discussion earlier with one of the kids who was in here, and she mentioned somebody who you know, Yogesh, Tia Chowdhury. And she mentioned that she wanted to have taken more wickets this week. And I asked her, what was her performance like? How did she grade her performance? She said, I could have done better because I didn't take many wickets.
Oh.
And I said, if you're playing a test match, then that's a
true.
legitimate
That's true.
criticism.
Yes.
In this, the game is restricting runs.
Yes.
You could have an opening pair who bats through the entire innings, and if they're only scoring 3 runs and over, then all you're chasing is 60 runs at the end of it. So
Yes.
number of wickets does not matter.
Correct.
Bowling accuracy is accurately is what's important.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about iStrive Technologies.
Yeah, iStrive Technologies. I guess before I mention iStrive Technologies, I have to mention my wife, Padma Pallela. She is the force behind iStrive Technologies and all the sponsorship that we were able to support NWCL.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and that was the one good thing I realized. I mean, women have to support this community, the girls, women's cricket community.
Sure.
And I was really happy for the game, and also that my wife was interested in the game to support the game. And that's when iStrive Technology is very new, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, but our goal is to see how much we can support the girls' cricket now and in the coming future. We want to work with Mr. Ranjit Singh and see where this can go.
So I genuinely appreciate the fact that you are providing resources to help support NWCL. But now I'm asking you for a commercial for iStrive Technologies. Tell me what the company does and what type of exposure can be provided specifically for the company. So forget about the cricket angle for a second and tell me about the company itself.
So the reason we opened this company was to support all the women professionals who are looking to get into the industry, to get into the job market, to get there in one way living, and then earn some respect.
I'll get back to that just a second. That's the biggest six I've seen
Yes.
probably this entire weekend. She went running down a couple steps down the pitch. Look at this. Full toss. And she advances. Came advancing down, taking that probably shoulder high. But it would not have been a no ball because she advanced down the wicket. So the umpire has to take that into consideration. But that landed 10 yards over the rope at deep mid wicket. Make that deep backward square. So this game isn't quite over yet. If Snigdha Paul is still there, there's certainly a chance. And this is down the ground. This is better. As long as you pitch that ball, you make it more difficult for the batters. For the batters. Anyway, so it helps women who are looking to get into the professional environment.
Yes. And basically, this is all started within our community where we had a lot of women who were like well educated and never got to work, but then they wanted, of course, never got to work because they got, married, had kids, could never focus on, their own career versus focusing more on the kids, but now want to get into the market and get their jobs. That's where it all started. So we felt like, okay, I was able to train few professionals and then get them into the job market.
And you're based in?
We are based in North Carolina now.
In North Carolina.
Yeah.
And are you virtual? Wait a minute. Lofted down the ground. That's going to be 6 more. Boy, Snigdha Paul is taking the bull by the horns. You still need 14 runs and over. But if she's still there, there's always going to be a chance. And in fact, with that 6, that's the end of 16. They only need from now 13 and a half runs and over. So that's a very big over. And 18 runs coming from that over. So we're not quite done yet. Anyway, so based in North Carolina, do you have virtual customers or is it face-to-face? How does that work?
It's all virtual. It's no face-to-face customers. We have 2 employees right now.
Okay.
They're working home-based. Then, they have started probably about 8-9 months now.
Okay.
And they're doing good. So we are hoping we could expand this to more women. And this is all, we are not trying to do too much of profit business here, but more like helping out.
Of course.
We'll see where it goes. And in the process, if we are able to support more on the girls' cricket arena, we are happy.
It's a bonus.
Yeah, we are happy about it. Yes.
My goodness. So only another 4 overs remaining in this entire tournament. And I think it's been a just absolutely successful tournament. And this is a single. This is going to be, Shravya bowling again.
We're bowling again, yes.
Shravya is now bowling to Snigdha Paul. So Dad is on tenterhooks.
But I know she's been in this situation a lot of times. A lot of times. And Ritu knows her best, her strengths, her weaknesses. And she has been the best captain for her so far.
So pay attention here. Snigdha Paul is a big hitter. And this ball is just going to have to be out of the hitting zone. Outside the line of off. I don't mind keeping it outside off stump. Maybe just a touch straighter inside the line. But if you're going to bowl to her, particularly from around the wicket, it cannot be too straight because she's very strong in the arc between long on and mid wicket. Oh, coming down for a split second, but that's a very good ball. That is exactly the line that she needs to bowl. And if she bowls that 4 more times, she'll be happy. And after that, she gets a single. So 18 runs coming from the previous over. But she starts out here with 2 singles and a wide. But I'll tell you, you absolutely accept singles right now. And that's another single. So you take those 3 singles. Each of these singles makes the run rate or the required rate climb. So you're now 116, make that 117 for 4. Another 50 runs needed exactly from 3 overs and 3 balls. They need now a rate of 14.29 and over. Push through more quickly, and that's hit straight down the ground to long on. Yet another single. This is excellent bowling. Again, bearing in mind the strength of the batter. If you toss it up or get it too straight, she is going to power you down the ground or over mid-wicket. But these types of deliveries are very hard to score off of. So whatever they're doing is working with her. So just last 2 balls now here in the 17th. 118 for 4. When do you all go back home?
We fly tonight.
Oh, you do fly out tonight. So you need this game one way or the other to be
Yeah.
over with.
My flight, we board at 5.
You board at 5? Wait, which
Not
airport?
5, not 5, 5:45.
5:40. Well, still, that's an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Which airport?
IAH.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news. that's a tough. Have you already checked in online?
Yeah, I checked in on.
Okay.
Yeah. I just did before coming to.
I hate to say it. That's a tough ask.
Yeah.
Intercontinental to here is, what would you say, Yogesh? An hour, 50 minutes?
At least 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like a straight freeway, so it should not be that bad.
Straight freeway. It's a Sunday, so there won't be that much traffic. But I'd prefer to not have been flying out tonight. Another good ball. That is the last ball of the over. What a brilliant over. What a brilliant spell by Sravia. 4 overs, none for 23. Less than a run a ball in a huge, huge spell. That is really brilliant on her part. That is 120 for 4 after 17. So the question to be asked is, who is going to bowl the remaining 3? Whoever that is going to have to defend 16 runs and over. So my guess is that Captain Ritu Singh is going to bring herself on sometime soon, and I think I see her walking to give her shades to the umpire. Is she? Yeah. Yep. So Ritu is going to be bowling. So that pulled things back. The previous over went for 18, but the brilliant spell by Sravia concluding in a very economical, a very miserly over, only conceding 7 runs, 6 singles and a wide. And this is struck down the ground. It's going to be 4. That went all the way to the boundary, long off. I think that's Geetika Kadali out there. It's kind of hard to tell. But not able to get across and stop that. So that's a good start to the over for MCA. And another 5 balls to come in this over from Ritu Singh, is going to be just, I would think, just a little shorter on that length and a little straighter. Tossed up, powered away to mid-wicket for 4 more. Okay, so this is the captain announcing that, yeah, we're not exactly finished yet. So the first 2 balls of this over have gone for 4s. Snigdha now up to 48 from 32. Anushka is at the non-strikers end. She's 7 from 8. But 128 for 4. You're looking now for 39 runs in 16 balls. And Ritu Singh again. I think anything tossed up is going to be a problem because Jessica, that's a better length, I think, or a better flight. You don't want to toss anything up. And you push it through and have her play, even if she's playing a cross-batted shot, she doesn't get the chance to elevate it like she did the first couple. So you'll accept that single every single time. So now 38 needed from 15. And importantly, it is Anushka back on strike, who is a good batter, but I think not quite as good a batter or dangerous a hitter as Snigdha. And Snigdha does get back on strike, but it's because of a single. So you will accept that. 37 runs now from the last 14. So Yogesh, you usually give the bowling to your best bowler to bowl the 19th. That's going to be 6. Using her feet to get to that one and hammering it over cow corner for another 6, and that gets her to 50. She's now Snigdha 55 from 34 balls, advancing down the wicket. Look at this delivery, tossed up by Ritu. In fact, not very tossed up, but it was just in the slot. So that length allowing Snigdha to get under it and power it away over cow corner for 6. And all of a sudden the equation gets just a little straighter, a little closer. Another 31 needed from 13 balls off the back foot, this time down to the sweeper. I started saying, Yogesh, you get usually your best bowler to bowl over number 19. So how many runs do you think they'd be looking to leave for the back end here?
I think the 19th over is very crucial in every T20 game. And I think right now they need about 30 runs in last 2 overs.
Exactly 30.
And I think if the bowler is a little leeway, when Snigdha is playing, she can easily get at least 16 to 18 runs more than enough that. So if the bowler gives 10 or less runs, that will be the ideal situation for the final over. And I think Snigdha knows that she's experienced and she knows what she has to do. So I'm sure.
Well, look who is bowling the penultimate over is the young lady who has not yet bowled today, but for my money, the best pace bowler in this entire tournament. One of the best pace bowlers in the country. You could argue the best pace bowler in the country on the women's side anyway. Geetika Kodali has not bowled at all today, but she's going to be asked to come in and bowl to Snigdha Paul. And I'll tell you, 30 runs to get. Her job is to keep the damage to less than, I would say, 10. You want it to be as big a psychological hurdle to overcome in that last over. And even if you score 10 off of her, which is not easy, this is powered away behind square, though, for 4. So that length and that line is one that Snigdha can score off of. That ball needs to be outside the line of off stump. I don't mind bowling over the wicket. In fact, I'd prefer for her to bowl over the wicket. But that line has to be toward off stump. That was too straight and pulled away for 4.
Yes, I think it's looks like Snigdha's strengths. Ball coming to the stump, closer to the stumps, and pitching a little shorter, she can easily pull.
Yes.
And even if you put a little bit up, she has the ability and strength to clear the boundaries. So you just have to keep your line outside the off stump and pack up your offside field and control that.
That's exactly right. Now Geetika going around the wickets. And far be it from me to second guess a young lady who's played cricket for the USA. For me, I think over the wicket is a better angle. It just the line is what was wrong with that last one. I don't think the angle of delivery was the issue. The line that she bowled was the issue. That's a good line. Whether from over the wicket or around the wicket, that line outside off stump is where she wants to be bowling. So that is a much better result and ends up in a dot ball. So 10 balls remaining, another 26 runs to get. Geetika just going off the short run. Oh, top edge, unlucky. That's going to go for 4. Just over the keeper's head.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate if you are the ACZ Women's Fire. Because that was a genuine edge and it flew over the keeper's head for the second boundary of the over.
Yeah, I think it was a little fuller length, so she was trying to drive over the covers or something, and there's always going to be that easier to get that outside edge and get a boundary because you're not going to have a third man there. So
this is true.
I rather keep a back of the length outside the off stump and let her use her strength to clear the offside if she can.
Yes. Yorker length, but it gets through again for 4 more. It's actually an outside edge.
Yeah.
So, no, it's buys. There's a signal by the umpire. 4 buys, but they all count. So that is 12 runs already from the over. Yogesh said that she should have been looking to limit the damage to 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I think still she's bowling too full, and the wicketkeeper is standing up. So, if anything, an edge, it's very difficult for the keepers to get to it, or even the closer. And if you are pace bowler, it might miss the same way she gave the 4 buys.
Well, it's interesting because I think she's going to keep bowling the same length. If you notice that deep third is now in position.
Yeah.
So I don't mind her bowling full. To be honest, she's found the edge twice. In theory, that's a moral victory for the bowler, because Snigdha wants to play you down the ground, and that's sliced in the air. Couple more runs coming probably, and they get 2 easily. So the last 3 times 2 times she's found the edge and 1 time went through to the keeper. So in terms of results, you don't necessarily like the boundaries, but you certainly like the edge or like the fact that you found the edge of the bat 2 times, 14 runs from the over already. So this is not done, folks, because 16 still remaining. If this is a boundary, it can make things really interesting. Lofted down the ground. It's not going to be a catch.
Yes.
Dropping short of mid-on. They're coming back for a second. And, oh, look at this. Oh, it would have been a run out had that been collected.
Two more
and
runs.
It goes for another run. So they end up getting 3 on that last one. That is a huge, huge over. And you put your team in the position where from 17 runs, consecutive overs yielded 17 runs, and all of a sudden, all you need to win
is 14.
Is 14. My goodness.
I think that they put 2. It should be 3 runs, right?
That's I need to double check on that too.
No, maybe the runner went back.
Okay. So it was
the runner at the non-striker didn't get off, so she went back.
Yogesh, is not difficult to fool 2 old guys. I think they did exactly that. And by the way, our friend in Dallas, Lovekesh Kalia, just sends a message. Snigdha just came back from India after attending the WPL. She was a net bowler for the Delhi as part of the MCA's academy.
Yes.
So definitely somebody who is on the radar of teams that matter, obviously. And so the last over now. Who is going to bowl the last over? Here's your question. It's certainly not going to be Ritu because she's bowled out. But waiting to see what happens here. Who is going to get the ball? Who is this? Disha. Wow. So in order to limit the side, to limit the MCA women from winning, you've handed the ball to a 12-year-old young lady who bowls very well, fearless with the ball in her hand. But this is a big pressure situation.
Yes, it's the championship on the line, so.
This one is for all the marbles, but she has ice in her veins, and I expect that even if she does not restrict the side to 13 runs or less, that it will not be because she was intimidated by the moment. She has ice in her veins. So a little bit of scrambling in the field. This 2 overs so far, none for 9. She would take 1 over for 9 right now. Wow. And the all-important question is, when is Snigdha going to come back on strike? Pulled into the deep. That's just, in fact, it get the square leg and they run through for a single. Apologies, I was just out of line of sight of that ball for just a second. But 1 run.
Yes.
So here is the game right here.
Yes. Next couple of deliveries will tell the story.
The next 2 deliveries, as Yogesh says, will tell the story. 13 needed from 5 balls. Boy, Yogesh, I'm nervous and I'm not even playing.
Well, that's like those are the situation. Like as a bowler, you like to love those kind of situation to go through that.
My goodness. Here she is, tossed up, launched down the ground for 4.
That's the one.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you something to pay attention to because I had her Disha in that very seat 2 days ago. And she talked about how she sets batters up. So she tosses one up and then she pushes one through quickly. My guess is that this next one is going to be the quicker, flatter one. But whatever it is, she's going to need to limit the runs. 9 runs needed from 4 balls.
You know, playing against Snigdha, and yes, the strategy is right to put a little faster one, but you have to make sure that you don't bowl a short one. Because Snigdha is pretty good at pulling the ball.
Oh my goodness,
even on the off stump, she can pull it down on the leg side. So
I suspect that this is going to be, or whether it's tossed up or not, the line and the length is what's important.
They lost the ball.
Yeah. Oh, they did just get it back. Yeah. My goodness. So here's your championship, folks. MCA women need 9 runs. ACZ women need to restrict them or to keep them under 8. And that all needs to happen one way or the other in the next 4 balls. So here we are. Disha again ready. So is Snigdha. Let's see what this presents. Forces it through the offside. This should just be 1. That is huge. Looking for the second. The second is not there. And that is a huge development. You get Snigdha off of strike, and it only costs you 1 run. So now 8 runs needed from the last 3 balls. And I bet that you're going to see every effort made here to run. Whatever happens, they're going to be looking to get Snigdha back on strike. And so the fielders inside the ring are going to have to be careful. Next delivery. On the ground, and that's going to be a single. And they absolutely will not try to run a second here. 2 balls remaining in this championship and 7 runs to get. How big is this moment?
Well, Snigdha needs at least 2 boundaries. That's what she has. She has to get the one on this ball first.
It is going to have to be, well, she can, Snigdha's power, she can hit 1 for 6 and level the scores. So you're, by no means is this going to be easy.
No.
And you see long off coming a little straighter. Here we go. Plays a little dab, and it is a dot ball. Look at this. How big a play is that? What a great delivery. Snigdha looking to run that behind point, but only succeeding in getting a dot ball. So now you need a 6 just to level the scores.
Yes. You got to give the credit to the bowlers.
Oh, my goodness, yes. 12-year-old Disha is bowling an absolutely brilliant over here after giving up a boundary on the second ball. Last ball. And a little gamesmanship.
The cat and mouse game going on.
Cat and mouse game indeed. And now just some words of advice from the senior player. It looks like Geetika Kadali with a word to say to her. And here is the game again. You need a 6 just to level the scores. Here we go. In the air, that's going to go for 4, but it does not matter.
That's the end of the game.
The end of the game. Disha holds her nerve, a 4 to Snigdha. So she ends up with 81, but more to the point, the energy has all been at the back end here in the hands of Disha, who rises to the moment and bowls an economical enough over. Still cost 11 runs, but you also needed 13 runs for MCA to win. They were not able to get those 13 runs. And for the NWCL 2020 Houston or 2023 Houston Championship, the ACZ Women's Fire come out on top. Let's just go through the scorecard for the final time. As soon as here are our updated scores here. The ACZ Women's Fire, in response, attempting, in fact, they batted first and got to 166 for 2. Ritu Singh, 78 from 69 with 8 fours. Sasha Vaya Baneni went early, 3 from 6. Jessica, 52 from 40 with 5 fours and a 6. And Geetika Kodali, 7 from 8. And in response, the MCA women. MCA women, thank you so much. Really good talking to you. Absolutely. So in response, the MCA women, Meha Sivakumar, 40 from 42. Giovanna Aras, only a short stay at the crease, 1 from 3. Chinmahi, 23 from 15. Snigdha Paul, a huge innings, 81 from 45 with 9 fours and 3 sixes. But look at the bowling, Yogesh.
Yes.
All the way down the bottom. Disha Kaveri Pakam, 3 overs, none for 20.
Wow.
But
the crucial over is the last one where she gave the inconsequential 4, but it was 11 runs. But that's a over where she hold her nerve against one of the best batter in the USA, and hats off to her. And a 12-year-old has such a temperament.
12-year-olds, absolute 12-year-olds.
I think this shows that how much talent USA has, and you can see that all the way from 12 years old to 16, 17 years old, tremendous talent. And hats off to the management and sponsors of this game that giving the opportunity to all these girls to shine.
My goodness. So once again, the sponsors, SMK Global and iStrive Technologies. SMK Global with Avni and Abhijit Patel, and iStrive Technologies with Padma and Sudhakar Kanamuri. So that is a wrap for our coverage here from the beautiful Moosa Cricket Stadium in Pearland, Texas. The NWCL Women T20 Championship 2023 comes to an end. And congratulations to the ACZ Women's Fire, taking victory by the thinnest of margins, Yogesh.
Yes,
2 runs. And that is a fantastic...
That's also in a high-scoring game, 166 chasing.
Very high-scoring game, but at the end of the day, the ACZ Women's Fire comes out on top. So congratulations, everyone. Thank you for following us along for the last several days. We look forward to the next time we get together. But until then, this is Brian Walters and Yogesh Patel signing